Well, 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 if it isn't the Acolights, welcome back to another episode of Ace Attorney. Are we going to finish the trial this time? Hopefully. Am I going to make our client die? Probably. I'm gonna try my best. I'm gonna do my best. If it doesn't work, well, what can I say?
I have considered the defense counsel's request for a further summation examination of the jury. And I have determined that the court must uphold the defense's judicial right to this procedure, no matter how much of a waste of time it is. So, counsel, will you now proceed with your second summation examination? I presume the jury is ready, Mr. Foreman?
We are, my lord.
Very good. In that case, I must ask each of you now to state clearly and concisely for the court the grounds on which you find the defendant guilty of the crime.
Okay, we gotta pay attention. We gotta sharpen my eyes. Gotta make sure I'm able to use my ears, my eyes, my fucking sense of touch. I need to pay attention. The jurors' contentions.
The accused left behind evidence at the scene, didn't he? Those 3 books of his.
If there was some novel alternative explanation about how the victim was stabbed, I might reconsider. Even if the woman was throwing books, it can't be related to this crime if the window was closed, can it? It was only a little walk, hardly life-threatening, it was a direct hit. Look, I just want to get this over with. If I don't bring home some pay tonight, I'll be in a tidy bit of trouble. Come to think of it, we had a fire at home a while ago. It gave me the sneezes. I don't think that's... Okay, well...
Even the judge is like, well, that certainly seems better than it used to be, I suppose. At least he actually pretends... Yeah, at least he's actually pretending to listen this time.
My learned student friend was unable to find fault in the previous witness testimony. So the court must accept the fact that it was indeed the accused seen fleeing from the scene. And moreover...
Oh shit. Ignite the fire.
No one else was even at the scene to commit the crime.
You don't know that! You don't know that, Van Zeeks! Well, if the eyewitnesses are correct, it would seem as if the conclusion is somewhat set in stone. I fail to see how it can be argued any other way.
That means, I'm afraid, that during this summation examination, it's essential that you establish some other tangible explanation for the facts. Seriously, how do I do that? Even constitute a tangible explanation here? I don't even know what half those words mean.
Isn't it obvious? Who stabbed the woman and how? Those 2 details are all you need provide. Simply give us a name and a method by which the attack was conducted.
And there I was thinking this might be hard. But Mr. Naruhodo, you have to do it. Otherwise this really will be where the trial ends. No pressure at all. I'm just about to decide a man's fate, whether he lives or dies, you know, the usual.
That's quite enough preamble. Proceed with the summation examination, please. I presume you are prepared, counsel?
Oh, yes, my lord. All right, Ryunosuke, focus your mind now. Wake the fuck up, dude. I need to be able to think. I need to be able to use my thoughts. My singular brain cell needs to go into maximum overdrive. Okay, it's going to be juror number 4, the maid, or should I say Mrs. Garadeb. We have a book that disappeared from the Garadeb's house on the evening of the incident, and the 4th book found in the victim's hand. There must be a way to link the 2. Yeah, that's what we have to find. Using every technique I've learned in my short career so far, whatever it takes, don't forget to keep an eye on Mrs. Garadeb and how she reacts, even to the things other people say. Yeah, we can pay attention to other people now.
Jury examination.
The defense's rebuttal.
The accused left behind evidence at the scene, didn't he? Those 3 books of his.
I'm just gonna press all of them. I'm just gonna press all of them, just to be sure. But as we now know, there were 4 books, not 3.
Well, what difference does it make?
Okay, I'm assuming it'll be nice and tell me when someone's reacting, just like it did before. If not, it's going to be a lot harder. There's every possibility that the 4th book, in fact, belongs to the defendant's landlord.
Yeah? That's the part I have a problem with.
Sorry?
Well, at the point the woman was stabbed, this landlord fellow was at home, wasn't he? Enjoying a fiery scrap with his wife or something, you said.
That's not exactly how I put it, no.
Well, anyway, the point is, the fellow and his wife were somewhere else when it happened.
I think that's what you call a strong alibi.
So it couldn't have been the landlord who did it, which only leaves the Nipponese fellow. Honestly, I can't see what all this palaver...
I'm literally looking up this word. What the fuck does that mean? Palaver definition. What the... Palaver. Unnecessary, elaborate, or complex procedure. Ah, so it's the law. It is literally the law. Just overly complex for no reason. I see. I understand. I suppose it is, since I have nothing witty left to say. What about you? If there was some novel alternative explanation about how the victim was stabbed, I might reconsider.
Hold it!
You. Talk more. So, you might be willing to change your decision, you mean? Oh my, such delight on your face, but I'm afraid I shan't be swayed by emotion. Despite what you may think of me, I am a very modern, metropolitan, and rational woman. That's great. All of those things you said were in fact words. If one reads the morning papers, it's all forgotten by tea time, isn't it? So why read them in the first place? You see, modern, metropolitan, and rational thinking, wouldn't you say? And not at all extreme. As I see it, an overwhelmingly suspicious Japanese man has been implicated by overwhelmingly strong testimony. So despite one or two minor puzzlements, I do declare that the man is overwhelmingly guilty. Modern, metropolitan, and rational logic, wouldn't you say?
No. Overwhelmingly. Okay.
But us modern gals are always delighted to embrace new fads, you know. So I'd be only too happy to consider an exciting new theory if you could come up with one.
I'd be happy to do that too. I really would be.
Let's do our very best not to disappoint the modern and metropolitan young lady.
Right. I'm glad you admitted rational there. Yeah, she definitely wasn't that. Even if the woman was throwing books, it can't be related to this crime if the window was closed, can it? Yeah, what you gotta say? What you gotta say? But what about the possibility that the window was open? What about it? I mean, there's just no way it could have been.
How can you be so sure?
The prosecutor fellow over there said it earlier, didn't he? Winters in London are no joke. You don't want to invite that sort of cold indoors. So no, that window wasn't open. Us Londoners like sitting by the fire and staying warm, see?
But you couldn't categorically state that the window wasn't open, could you?
It just wasn't. They wouldn't have opened it.
Then what's the point in even having windows, huh?
Counsel, you will kindly refrain from childish bickering.
Well, sorry about that. I need to show there's an undeniable possibility that the window was open. Because this young man isn't going to budge otherwise. Okay.
Dear Ruby, it was only a little book, hardly life-threatening, even with a direct hit.
Yeah, let's interrogate. It really does be like that, Power. One mystery at a time, and half of them are impossible to solve. But the little book was on fire at the time, was it not?
With flames of love, I'll have you know.
There's really no such thing as a loving incendiary bomb. Oh wow, she actually just tried to swipe at him.
Well, he brought it upon himself. It's playing with fire to betray a fiery love. Isn't it? Well, don't you agree?
Well, any kind of betrayal is certainly bad. Yeah, definitely bad. But I think the argument might have arisen out of your misunderstanding, Mrs. Garrideb. Wow, she just keeps aiming for him, doesn't she?
Never mind you that. The point is this. We were just having a jovial little dispute. Nothing more. And I won't have any more of these suggestions that it was anything whatsoever to do with this crime.
But what if she was the other whammon? What if she was the one you were fighting about, huh? What then, Mrs. Garrideb? Right, well, we'll see about that. What about juror number 5? He doesn't seem to be turning a hair at Mrs. Garrideb's relentless onslaughts. It's almost as though he's used to it. What a gentle soul he is. Or his wife is abusive. One of the two. Look, I just want to get this over with. If I don't bring home some pay tonight, I'll be in a tiny bit of trouble. So let's press you. What's up? What's up, man? What's the rush? You just want to get this over with? How can you sit there and say something like that? A man's future is at the stake here. Well, him and me both, like I said before. What? What are you talking about? I told you already, I'm a day laborer, aren't I? If I don't bring home readies with me tonight, you'll find me floating face down in the Thames tomorrow morning. What? You heard me. My missus isn't one to mess around, you know. She could be fierce, believe you me. How else do you think I got these dodging skills of mine? Another shining example of marital bliss, then. A situation like this cropped up the other day. It was, well, Do you know, it's funny, but I can't quite remember. Sorry? You can't... It was too frightening. That's the thing. I must have blocked it out. Helpful. Very helpful. I wonder if Mr. Beat will ever be dragged into Thames by a scarf. Don't even go there, Mrs. Sato. There must be some way to jog his memory about this. Okay. And we, yep. You were talking about a fire giving you sneezies. Okay, yeah, let's press you. What's up, old man? Does that have anything to do with your decision about the defense culpability in this case?
Sorry, what's that? You'll have to speak up, lad.
Oh, God. Okay, could you tell us more about that fire?
It was last winter. My grandchildren's baked me a lovely cake on my birthday. It had 75 candles on top. It did. What a sight to behold it was.
You put candles on a cake? Was this some kind of devil worship? Oh my God. Before birthday keeps became common. Are you worshiping a devil right now? Is that candle supposed to be for the devil?
Of course not. It was an angel cake to celebrate my birthday, obviously.
Seems it's a common custom here in Great Britain, Mr. Naruhodo.
Anyway, I mustered up all my puff to blow them out. Only I must have blown wrong somehow. The flames didn't go out, but candles went flying all over the room. The furniture caught and everything went up. The whole place filled with smoke.
It definitely sounds like devil worship to me. Devil worship of the birthday cake, you know. You never know with the Nipponese. You never know. They could be up to anything.
What a fiasco it was. The grandchildren, bless them, threw water over me as they tried to put out the flames. And then, because the whole room had filled up with smoke, of course, we had to open all the windows to clear it.
Oh, you had to open the windows, you say?
The biting winter air rushed over me like the devil, danced on my grave, it did. I caught a terrible cold from it, put me in the hospital for a while. I won't forget that birthday in a hurry.
I knew it was devil worship all along. But something about this old man's story is playing on my mind for some reason.
He's talking about having the windows open.
We need to demonstrate who, apart from Mr. Natsume, could have attacked the young woman on the street, as well as how he or she could have done it. Yeah, but once again, the jurors' statements are full of personal prejudice. A lot of them seem convinced they're right, even in the face of logical arguments to the contrary. I just had a thought. Maybe one of the first thoughts I've ever had. What if Mrs. Garadeb threw a knife out the window and it hit the woman in the back? That's the only thing I can think of. Like, she was just throwing out her, either she is the one who killed her, or she threw a knife out the window. Those are my two leads right now. I'm suspecting Garadeb. Don't use your brain. What the fuck? Okay, Power. What do you mean? You don't want me to try figuring it out before it comes? I think that's half the fun of the game. You gotta try and beat the game in its own logic, you know? Figure out who it is beforehand. That way you could just go in that direction, and only that direction, and then miss all of the other clues. That's how you do it. Just ignore all of the clues that are irrelevant to the case. A lot of them seem convinced they're... Yeah, I already read that. I think you're going to need to pit them against each other to force them to accept an alternate explanation. Yeah, but I don't need to find contradictions between their assertions. Just a connection might do the trick. Alright, I'll see what I can do. If anything stands out, I'll go in for the strike. That's the spirit. Thanks, Susato. SMH. Power, I will attempt to use my brain at all costs. My last brain cell needs to be mighty in order to carry me. 3 books. You said, can't be related to the crime the window was closed. And then, what are you saying? Winterhouse fires are dire. You have to... Oh, okay. Let's pit you against you. Even the window can't be related to the crime if the window was closed. But open windows because of the fire, sir.
Objection!
Yeah, those two jurors' statements clearly contradict one another.
They do? How exactly, counsel?
Don't point at me again. I told you it wasn't me. Oh, what's that you say? Speak up, lad. Speak up. Juror number 3, do you see? Oh, me? See what? I wasn't paying attention nearly as much to you, sir. Did you hear jumper number 6's account of his birthday celebrations last year? It seems, despite being a Londoner, he once opened his windows in the middle of winter. Well, yeah, of course, because it was an emergency. I mean, obviously, if the room was filled with smoke from a fire, then you'd be mad to not open... Oh, that makes a lot more sense. Exactly. On the day in question at the time of the incident, there was a fire in the Gerdeb household. And Mr. Gerdeb had the following to say about it. The whole place filled with smoke.
Oh my.
Hello. You seem to be panicking there. Do you have something to say? Is it space?
Excuse me.
Gerdeb, what's up with that? Why are you freaking out? Something important you got to say to us, to the court maybe? Maybe Jesus, you are going to town on that tea. Gerdeb! Oh, dear me! What is the meaning of this? How dare you imply I'm hiding who I really am? It's imperative that you confirm something for the court. So please, it's time to drop the pretense now. What is it? Well, when the fire started in your house that day, did you or your husband open the window? What? I beg your pardon? What are you insinuating? I'm insinuating that you opened the window because you were going to die of smoke inhalation. Is this correct? In a situation like that, it's inconceivable that you wouldn't have opened the window. Yeah, so what do you got to say about that? And what if we did? Oh, alright then. Yes, you're right. My husband was frantically trying to open the window, which could have been easy since I continued to give him a justly deserved book battering. Even though your house was on fire? Oh, you never stop throwing until the anger subsides. It would be terribly bad for the nerves to do otherwise. I think that's how manslaughter charges happen. I'm gonna be honest, Mrs. Gerdeb. That's a significant step forward, Mr. Naruhodo. You've managed to establish that the window was open. We simply must have that added to Mrs. Gerdeb's final statement. Okay, window was open. Yes, the window was open at the time. I'd clean forgotten, but it's true. Don't want to bring the home page in. I'll be in a tiny bit of trouble. Okay. Do I have to pit her against someone now? The window could have been open when the woman was throwing books. I mean, it's definitely a possibility. Something else. An accused left behind 73 books. Oh, God. The window was open at the time. I think... Can I press her on this now? Or will she say something different?
Hold it!
The 4th book found at the scene of the crime shows very obvious signs of fire damage. And the title of the book is The Lion's Pride. The same title, in fact, as the book that Mr. Gerdeb told us he'd been reading. Oh! Yep. Well, I really couldn't say. Yeah, you couldn't say? Really now? On the day in question, did you or did you not throw at your husband the copy of The Lion's Pride that he'd been reading? Well, answer please. You did. I did. Oh my God, a breakthrough. It was the first thing I could lay hands on, so I hurled it straight at him. And now you come to mention it, yes. He was rather enjoying reading it, you're right. And now he can't ever finish the book because the latter pages are ruined. Why did you do that? Why did you hide this from us? Because I couldn't, you insolent little man. I didn't remember. At times like that, you pick up and throw whatever you could lay your hands on as well, you know. I really don't. That is not... I've never once done that when I was angry. Ever. I'm sorry to say. I barely noticed I was throwing a book, much less the title of it. Oh, sir? You have more to say there? You just have a... Oh my god, you had a flashback. You had a flashback of the horrible incident. What is it, juror number 5? You know something? I've remembered what it was. That memory I'd blocked out. Ah, okay. I was listening to what this granny was saying, brought it all flooding back. Hey, stop that. Who are you calling a granny, you cheeky devil? I'm Mrs. Gerardep, or the maid, I'll have you know. The man doesn't even flinch. Please tell me that's not because he's so used to being hit all the time. It was about 2 weeks ago now. I just got back home after work, Ike. I put my hand in my pocket for the wages I just earned that day, and I nearly died. There was a hole. Every last penny had dropped out. Oh dear, what a disaster. You haven't heard half of it, boy. Oh? The wife was cutting up some chicken at the time. I could hardly get the words out, but I told her straight, I've lost a day of wages, love. Next thing I knew, the blade was whistling past my ear. Stuck in the wall next to me, it did, about an inch deep. Oh, wow. No words, just violence. Violence and terror. I could smell it then, you know. That god-awful stench of the Thames. I was sure I was going to end up face down in the muddy banks that night, I can tell you. Now, that's a real disaster, isn't it? I'll never use the word lightly again. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is this. When women lose their rag, they'll throw anything at you. Knives, hatchets, hammers, you name it. Mr. Naruto, you mustn't think that all women are so short-tempered and unrefined. Yeah, no, of course not, Susato. It's not like you throw me, like, what was it, how many times? 4 times when I was being accused of murder? Just constantly, just throwing me every chance you got whenever I did the slightest thing that... Okay, but never mind, we're not talking about that right now. Throwing household objects at people is, well, it's so uncivilized. At least attack with honor, using a bow or the like. With a bow? I don't think a bow is honorable at all. I'm pretty sure... I don't think a bow is too honorable, Susato. I'm gonna be honest. Never mind. Anyway, this man's words could be rather significant, I think. Alright, we'll come back to the bow and arrow thing later, if I dare. So, Gerardep and you, I assume. Wouldn't hurl almost anything. The window was open at the time. I'd clean forgotten, but it's true. Some novel alternative, 3 books. Okay. I wonder if he'll say anything else when we press him on this. Because it did it last time with the Gerardep, so what else? Your wife really threw a kitchen knife at you? That's right. She was chopping meat with it. Had a tiny edge on it, believe me. Still, it's all memories, isn't it? Started with that smile she threw at me when we were first courting. Since then, this thing she's thrown at me has grown along with our relationship. There was a cup, then a glass, then a pot, kettle, chair, wardrobe, cooker, bathtub. I was really surprised about that last one, you know. Your wife must be even beefier than you. And things came to a head last week when she threw me right into the Thames. Still, she's not so bad when she's calmed down. She's a little sweetheart, really. I'm happy for you. If you want to know what I think this whole idea of ladies first that we're so obsessed with in this country was thought up by some clever lads who'd been tossed in the Thames a few too many times by their wives. It's a very good theory, I suppose. What a terrible thought. On the face of it, this juror's statement just sounds like a really extreme anecdote. But I think it might turn out to be an extremely powerful weapon. A weapon I might be able to use to make the jurors accept an alternative explanation here. Okay. Can we press him? It could have been open when the woman was throwing books. So, like, it was definitely open.
Hold it!
I'm just gonna press him one more time. At the point when the victim was attacked on Briar Road, We know there was a small house fire in the Gerardeb household on the opposite side of the street. Well, yeah, it certainly seems that way. And on account of the smoke, I imagine they would have had their windows wide open in spite of the cold. You good? You good, Gerardeb? I mean, we already interrogated about you, but you don't have to be so nervous about that, damn. We also know that Mrs. Gerardeb was throwing flaming books at her husband. Her husband, who was backed into a corner by the window due to his wife's frenzied attack. Yeah, that's right. So there's definitely a chance that one of those books could have flown past the man and out the window. Only what? Only I can't really see how it could have gone all the way over to the other side of the road, that's all. So I don't really see how I can change my decision, really. Oh, I see. That wasn't enough? What is it going to take to persuade these people? They are all dead set, aren't they? Oh, okay. Window was open. Could have been open when she was throwing books. Maybe hurl anything. Window was open. What do we have in the court records, actually? I want to look. We only have one chance. We've done well so far. But, like, it has not been great. Not been great. We finally ran into the first wall. Large boat. Okay. This was found. Right. This was, like, had a chip on it. Why did it have a chip on it, though? It's relevant in some way, probably. Stab wound. And the book we burned. Oh, God, sorry about that. Damn. Okay, well. So, it's definitely him. The woman in rage will hurl anything. The window was open. So it's, I feel like it's Gerardeb. I feel like it's Gerardeb or Country Boy. So even though these aren't like contradictory at all, they still like we can imply that she threw a knife. Those two statements clearly contradict each other. Oh, well, fuck. I'm sorry, but as foreman of the jury, I have to object. That's complete nonsense. What? I'm a banker, don't forget, an educated man, and there's no contradiction as far as I can see.
Quite so, Mr. Foreman. I will not permit a whimsical attack against the good members of the jury council. And that said, your friend will be sentenced to hang. Come the morrow. They will be hung post haste, as quickly as possible. I want the life leaving this man's eyes as soon as possible.
Certainly, my lord. We can get this done. We can do this in thy name.
Then please announce your findings to the court.
Guilty!
Yep.
Guilty.
Guilty. Yep.
Guilty.
Yep. Guilty.
Guilty.
Understand. Yep.
Guilty.
I am understanding.
Guilty.
Okay. So it wasn't those two. It was not those two. I don't know. Who else can we press though? So maybe we should try guilty. Yep. Because it's like we know that we have to imply that she threw a knife, but we have no idea how to get to that point. Okay. Sorry, man. Sorry I got you killed. Let's retry, okay? Yes. I would like to. Guilty. 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 Exactly, Power. Guilty until proven innocent. That's the name of the game. And we suck at proving people innocent. Okay. Oh, God. Do we have to do all this over again? Okay. Let's...
Hold it!
Let me press you. Okay. Skip. Yep. You had a fire. You had a fire. You are quite aware of this fire. And then you blew it out. You blew out the fire. But you fucked up. You didn't blow out the fire. You blew the candles onto the floor with the fire still intact. I have no idea how you managed to do that. But yeah, you definitely, like, just messed up. You done goofed. windows were closed, and then you opened it because you made a fire. You made a fire, old man. I wonder, wait, did he sneeze and that's what caused it to open up? Or did he just blow hard, like too hard? I can't remember. I can't remember, and I'm skipping the dialogue. Okay. You... I would like... Yes, I would like to pit you against you.
Objection!
Okay. You two are completely wrong in every single way. You see, he said that you have to open the windows if you have a fire. What do you say to that, Mr. Know-It-All? Would you open the windows if there was a fire in your house? Of course you would. It's the only logical thing to do. That way you don't die of smoke in... Oh, God. Oh, damn it. I forgot I had to do that. That cannot deny with no way out of nowhere. No, I suppose it wouldn't. When you get to my age, you learn a thing or two, you know? And I could tell you... Okay, I kind of want to know... okay, I mean, we're going to pursue you, no matter what. Okay, yep. I did nothing of the sort, and I'm still a maid. I can't believe you would accuse that I'm not a maid. You are not a maid. I can't believe you would accuse me. Well, you got me. I'm actually his wife. Of course, we already knew that. You were horrible at disguises. Okay. Yep. Can't have been easy. Your house was on fire, and you were just angry. And now we have to talk to her again. And then we talk to juror number 5 again. Okay, I'm gonna press you on that.
Hold it!
That way we can get you just talking about throwing things. Lion's Pride, same title as the book Garrett was reading. Yep, and did you throw it? I can't believe you'd throw that. Yep, just nod slowly. There we go. Bouncing cheeks. The wrong kind of bouncing cheeks. The bad kind of bouncing cheeks. The first thing I lay my hands on. Hurl it straight at him. Yep. She threw just everything. I was rather enjoying reading it. Why did you not reveal it? Is it because you're dumb and mean and you don't want to help my case at all? Oh no, it's because you didn't remember. Why didn't you say so? Just tell me if you don't remember something. Just say I don't remember anything about the incident. It's fine. Okay. There we go.
Excuse me.
Pursue you. Yo, what's up, juror number 5? What's wrong with you? I just remembered. I was nearly killed the other day. Yep. You didn't even flinch. You're used to things being thrown at you. You're used to being thrown. Your wife is crazy strong or super masterful. One of the two. So yeah, she was like, wah. I wonder if that's on purpose. I wonder if she, like, knew the knife wasn't going to hit him. Or, like, she aimed it properly. Or if she just hurled a knife. Because that definitely could have just fucking murdered him. Okay, yep, I am aware. Attack with honor with a bow and arrow. I don't think attacking from range is in any way honorable. I am not an honorable person, though, so I 100% would attack from range. Okay. Now we're back to where we were after all of that. We have 5 more chances. The window was open. Let's press you again, just to see if we can get any other information. Yep. Garrett, yep. Husband was backed up, yep. But, you can't figure out that, or you can't figure that the book would fly across the road. Yeah, books have a lot of, what's it called? Air friction, I suppose, is the word for it. Yeah, let's press you on that again. Your wife really threw a kitchen knife at you. That's true. Chopping meat. And it was just fucking right there. Right in front of my eyes. Cup, glass, bottle, everything, and then me. Right into the things. Not so bad. Sweetheart. Okay. Now I think we're caught up. We have every single dialogue option that we had before. What a terrible thought. On the face of it, this juror's statement just sounds like a really extreme anecdote. But I think it might turn out to be an extremely powerful weapon. A weapon I might be able to use to make the jurors accept an alternative explanation here. Okay. So you admit the windows could be open, but you... God, stop that. What's wrong with me? I mean, let's just press these two. It's been a while since we talked to them. As we now know, there were 4 books, not 3. Well, what difference? Okay. The landlord's book. Okay. Well, they were both inside being fiery. Point is, Phil and his wife, yep, they weren't there. Okay. Couldn't have been the landlord. Let's see what it's about. Okay, so that was the exact same. And I'm assuming she is just going to say the same thing again. I don't know. Let's say, like, books and something else. It's like I got it wrong before. I'm not sure what it could be. Like, do I have to present someone with evidence? What would I present them with? The book?
Objection!
What's up? Those two statements clearly contradict one another.
Oh, that's...
Damn it. I'm sorry, but as foreman, I object. You're a goddamn idiot. I can't believe you would even attempt to fly something like that by me. Even me, as not a lawyer, can see that that's pure malarkey. Okay. So those were both the wrong choices. Dim possibility, window was open. Maybe I have to pit these two? It's like, hey, the window was open. It wasn't just a possibility, it was open. That's the only thing I could think of.
Objection!
Yeah. Those two statements are Damn it! What do you mean? They do! I mean, they're similar, but they're not. They're only similar. Oh god, he's gonna be hung again and I'm gonna have to go through this whole thing another time. Okay, window was open. Woman were oh Mary. Anything at you? I don't know. It's like, what else do we have? Whoa, 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 whoa. Actually, can we present you with a knife? A woman in rage will hurl almost anything at you. Let's present the knife. Maybe that's what we have to do. Can I not? Oh. Oh, okay. I can't actually present it. That is unfortunate. Throwing books. Novel explanation. Maybe an alternative explanation is her and him. Woman will throw anything, huh? Or what was you? Left behind evidence at the scene, the 3 books. Okay. Window was open. Kitchen was really brought it home there. Okay. This is the only thing I can think of. What? The music stopped. Is this good? Those two statements clearly have a deeply significant connection. Oh, thank God.
Good grief, you mean they don't contradict each other? Explain, counsel, at once.
Juror number 2, do you think perhaps that this could be one such novel alternative? Oh my, whatever do you mean? An alternative explanation as to how the victim was stabbed in the back. What are you talking about? We've demonstrated that the 4th book, The Lion's Pride, that was found at the scene of the crime, originated in Mr. Garadeb's room on the top floor of his house. Therefore, it's equally possible that some other object besides the book could have found its way from the Garadeb household to the street below. What's that now? After all, Mrs. Garadeb could have thrown any number of different objects at her husband. Isn't that right, juror number 4? What are you insinuating now, you little beanpole? I'm beginning to think that ever since the true origins of the book came to light, perhaps she's had a feeling this might be what happened. Now you listen here, you Eastern Gala. As the foreman of this jury, I demand a straight answer. You give us this yarn about some other object making its way out of the house, but what? What was it? Well, you see, it was a goddamn knife. I'm taking a really big gamble here. That's a bold accusation to make, but I haven't any real evidence to back it up. But I'm certain that at the very least, this warrants further investigation. Alright, Mr. Foreman, I'll try to explain the defense's theory. The other object found its way from the Garadeb household to the scene of the crime was the knife.
Take that!
It was an open pocket knife. Juror number 4, Mrs. Garrideb. What now? I must apologize in advance for this, but I need you to confirm something else for the court. This knife... Have you ever seen this knife before?
Ah! Good Lord, Counsel, what on earth are you doing? That's the weapon that was lodged in the victim's back, man!
Yeah, it was. Have you seen it before? My lord, remember that when the victim was attacked, Mr. and Mrs. Garrideb were in the throes of an argument. Mrs. Garrideb was hurling anything she could at her husband, who'd been backed up against the window. A window that had been opened to clear the smoke, and through which a book sailed to land at the crime scene.
You can't seriously believe that. The book, it was found in the victim's grasp.
Are you saying that it flew out the window and across the street to land neatly in her palm?
Ha! Even my missus ain't got a name that bad.
Yeah, I admit there are many details we don't yet understand. But that's the point. That's precisely why we must not allow this trial to end. Not right now. Oh my. Ah! Mrs. Garrideb, your answer, please. Have you seen this knife before or not? Well, if you say yes, you may be implicated for manslaughter. But manslaughter is not murder, is it? Is that a yes? Oh, she fainted. She's gone. Did you throw a knife out the window? I wish to change my decision. Hell yeah, I'm a woman of my word after all. Thank you, madame.
Yeah, I agree. I certainly didn't see this coming, but... I just don't think it would be right for this trial to come to an end now with so many unanswered questions.
Mr. Foreman.
Well, I'd have to agree. Not that I think the granny did it, mind.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not quite happy about this at the moment either.
All together now, ladies and gents.
What about you, old man? What the fuck? What's the hold up here? Why are you not reconsidering, huh? We did it. Oh, congratulations, Mr. Naruhodo.
So, as a result of the defense's summation examination, a number of jurors' leanings have changed. 2 jurors call guilty against 4 now calling innocent. Accordingly, the opinion of this court is divided. And this trial will continue.
Hear that, Zeeks? Hear that, Zeke man? Hear that, Zeeky boy? Looks like you're gonna have to put up with some more tomfoolery of mine.
Now then, Lord Van Zeeks, how does the prosecution wish to proceed?
By drinking a hard glass of wine and crushing it in my hand, of course. This trial is rapidly descending into a farce.
You about to throw the cup or crush it? It's one of the two.
Like a corked wine, the first few sips are bitter enough.
There we go.
But what follows is so repugnant it's good for nothing save the gutter. If I may, Lord Van Zeeks, the defense has just put forward a credible alternative explanation for what happened. Credible? Is that your considered opinion, Mr. Foreman? The defense's argument is a joke to which I barely know how to respond, but let me start by insisting that you must all familiarize yourselves better with the relative positions of those places being discussed.
What do you mean by that? What's his angle this time? It's the angle of the knife, Ryunosuke. She would literally have had to have her back to the window. That is the problem with that.
It should already be more than apparent that between the crime scene and the Garrideb household runs a rather wide street, Briar Road. Which means that the distance from the Garrideb's house to the scene is some, yes, 15 yards.
15 yards. How far is that? A yard is 3 feet, about? So that's 15 times 3. That's 45. What the fuck? The street was 45 feet? That's insane. Let me see. 15 yards? That's around 14 meters. Yeah, no, that's insane. That's still a lot. 14 meters? Oh, that's a little farther than I imagined.
And as you ladies and gentlemen of the jury rightly noted as having portentous significance, the fourth book was found in the victim's clutches. In other words, the smoldering book wantonly hurled by the lady of the house traveled some 15 yards to land on the opposite side of the street, neatly between the collapsed victim's fingers and thumb. No, she picked it up, idiot. Is that your final conclusion, my learned and deluded friend? No? And did the jackknife follow a near-identical trajectory to plunge in the middle of the woman's back? This fantasy is somewhat stretching the notion of having a bad day for the victim, I think. If I can talk. Even those pathetic serialized detective stories have more believable plots. Ah! Damn, Ryunosuke, you got shot down! You got shot down to hell.
That prosecutor loves the sound of his own voice, Mr. Sato. Serialized detective stories are pathetic, are they? How dare he? Maybe let's pick our battles here. My lord, might I be allowed to speak?
As judicial assistant, you may speak for the defense. Yes, go ahead.
The prosecution may consider the idea a fantasy, but what the defense has postulated was believable enough to persuade the jury to change its leaning. And as such, the court has a duty to explore this alternative explanation as thoroughly as possible.
Well, shit, you put me in a bind here.
To that end... Well, what is it, Susato? What is it? Juror number 4, Mrs. Joan Garridet, must be called to testify and submit a cross-examination.
Saints alive! A cross-examination of a juror?
Yeah, that's kind of what it needs to be.
Order, order, order! Well, this is highly irregular. It is unprecedented for a member of the jury to be summoned to the witness stand.
Yeah, unprecedented and unwarranted. Take that, idiot back there, and unnecessary.
Lord Van Zeeks?
What's going on? There are already witnesses in the stand whose testimony the defense may further cross-examine. If my learned friend's farcical theory has any truth in it, then both a burning book and a jackknife must have flown through the sky before this couple's eyes. And we must assume they would be able to testify accordingly.
What say you, witnesses?
Did you see anything, huh? You didn't, because it was foggy, too foggy for you to see.
Yes, sir! Constable Rolly B. reporting for duty, sir.
Yep.
Well, good morning, officer. Sorry for dozing until now, sir. I haven't slept for a month on account of a villain who's appeared in my beat, sir.
Oh, they are so heroic, these London bobbies.
Patricia, my darling, I've been neglecting you, but no more.
Oh, Rolly, my hero, you make me swoon.
Very well, I hereby reject the defense's request.
Oh.
And order the witnesses in the stand to testify again. State forthwith before the court any details pertaining to the defense's alternative explanation of events.
Yes, sir!
So what is it? What do you have to say?
Witness testimony.
Constable Beats report. This case has nothing to do with Mr. and Mrs. Garridet. Believe me, a London bobby is good for his word. You see, sir, the windows on the top floor of the Garridet household are top-hinged casements. Top-hinged casements? Obviously, if anything had been thrown out of the window, we would have seen it. And I did leave the scene and go fetch help, but my trusty Rolly was there to make sure nothing was disturbed. I didn't take my eye off the crime scene for one moment, sir. Nothing strange to report on that front, sir. That's a damn dirty lie. You were passed out on the floor.
Well, this is quite startling. Top-hinged casement windows.
That detail was not in the police report, Constable.
Yeah, sorry about that. I must have been a little drowsy.
You cannot excuse your sins with drowsiness every time, Constable.
No, sir. Sorry, but what is the relevance here? I have no idea what the heck that is.
And you cannot excuse your ignorance with such trite remarks, my learned friend.
Of course, sorry, but not all of us have grown up here with these kinds of windows. I found it, Mr. Naruhodo. Cast your mind back to the windows in Mr. and Mrs. Garrideb's room. Alright, I'll try. Oh yeah, they like tilt halfway, don't they? So the window shutters in order to allow air to circulate inside the house. Oh, that's how they open? But as it's a top-hinged casement window, it swings open along the upper edge, you see. I'm glad you've rectified your ignorance. A casement window's most prominent feature is its stay, a metal bar which prevents the window from being opened beyond a certain amount. It prevents it opening? This is news to me. Absolutely correct, sir. In other words, if a book or knife would have been thrown through the open window, it would have clattered against the pane and fallen straight down to the pavement below. No. You see the problem, then? Good. Your education in windows is complete. There was never any possibility of either the book or the knife traveling 15 yards over the road. That is, unless the window pane had been shattered, something we've discounted already. That can't be. Man, how did she get the book then? Was she in the apartment? Well, no, because the fire happened at the same time. The fire happened at the same time, so how did the book end up in her hand? Did you see that, Rolly? The young Japanese man just collapsed in agony. Oh, yes, my darling, I saw it. I saw how he crumbles before me. Oh, Rolly, you're so strong. How is this happening? I haven't even started the cross-examination yet, and already my argument's been destroyed.
Counsel, if you could drag yourself upright again, the court awaits your cross-examination.
Man, I need some water. I think that's what's the problem here. Proper hydration. Are you hydrated? Are you hydrated, Acolights? You hydrated, Power? Also, posture check. You sitting up? You fucking leaning to the side? You doing a pretzel? Well, stop that. Sit properly. Yeah? Yeah? I'll take your silence and not immediate reply as a yes. My lord, oh good, another desperate situation. Yes, I have coffee. What do you be? Power, why are you drinking coffee? It's like, hold on, wait, are you an hour behind? Why are you drinking coffee at 8? What? Why are you drinking? Do you want to stay up till like 5 a.m.? What's happening here? And Bobby is good for his word. What are you, though? How can you say that for certain? A very good question, sir. And the answer is this. Oh my god, another piece of evidence. It has the noble founding principles of the force written on it as a reminder to all us policemen of our sworn duty. He showed us that before, didn't he? Why not stay up till 5 a.m. Power? Because you gotta sleep sometime. When have you been waking up? Have you just been sleeping till like 1 p.m.? Well, not like... You have work. I know you work. What do you mean? How are you able to do that? To just drink coffee and stay up and wake up late? Or do you not wake up late? Do you get like 4 hours? Did he? I can't say I remember. To patrol the streets of London town and uphold the peace of the common man. It's what the job's all about. And that is why I can stand here today alongside my long-suffering wife and tell you Bobby's good for his word. While rubbing my tired eyes, admittedly, sir. Oh, really? You're so manly. Of course I am, my darling Patricia. Oh, Pat. Oh, Rolly. Oh, man, they really are just completely in love with each other. No, none of this is what I meant. I meant, how can you say for certain that this case has nothing to do with Mr. and Mrs. Garrett? Ah, I see, sir. You should have said so earlier, sir. Okay, well, could you answer the question then, please? Instead of going on the whole spiel? Absolutely, sir. I will answer to the fullest of my ability, sir. There's a surprising reason why Mr. and Mrs. Garrett domestic dispute can't be related to this case. Well, before I get to that, sir, just one thing. Yes?
I'd very much like you and your countrymen to understand the great British institution of Scotland Yard. So I'd hope you'll take back some tales of us London bobbies, know how we uphold our guiding principles. I wasn't planning on going back just yet. I've only just arrived here. So to that end, sir, I'd be happy to lend you my warrant card for your perusal. I must warn you, you won't be able to get through it without shedding a few tears. Oh, more evidence, you say? Constable Beat's warrant card has been entered. A small folding wallet that identifies London bobbies and contains the rules of conduct to which they must serve. Real quick. Yes, I know. The casements are fine, but I want to look at the new evidence. Item 1. A policeman will strive to preserve this peace within his allotted beat. 2. A patrolling officer is expected to walk 20 miles around his beat every day for the furtherance of community relation. It's forced that they have to walk 20 miles? I was expecting, like, patrolling. Yeah, that makes sense, but specifically at least 20 miles. That's insane. Metropolitan Police Regulations. Item 1. Any crimes fall under the jurisdiction of the beat in which they are discovered. And when a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with initial investigations and help detectives. So you didn't do that. Because you immediately called someone else because it wasn't your beat. So yeah, no, it should have been your jurisdiction. Okay. That's interesting, but it has nothing to do with this so far. Let's press them again. I'm going to press every single one of them. By which you mean they don't open fully, is that correct? Yes, sir! They're just there to allow a bit of air to flow through the house, you see, so they're restricted to how much they open. I have no idea what voice I'm giving this dude. It's changing every, 5 seconds. And therefore, anything thrown out the window from inside the room would simply strike the pane and fall to the street directly below. For clarity, allow me to mark the map. Okay. Here is the location where objects would have fallen.
Yes, directly opposite the scene of the crime, on the other side of the rather wide road.
It would have been so hard for somebody to mention this top hinged casement thing before. Well, I have another question for you, Constable. Yeah, I don't know the question either. I'm very curious. How do you even know? What do you mean? Why would you have any idea what sort of windows Mr. and Mrs. Garrideb's house is furnished with? Ah, well, sir, that's very simple. You see, I helped with the investigation yesterday. Oh,
Excuse me.
Did you now? Do you have something to add, Mrs. Beat? Sorry? You look, well, delighted. Is there some particular reason for that? Oh, I was just remembering, that's all. We really were so lucky. Lucky? What do you mean? Well, of course, I feel terrible for the poor woman who's attacked. Don't misunderstand me, please. But we were just so lucky it didn't happen on Rolly's beat. It was so close, you see. Oh, I hadn't realized. Oh, yes, that's Street Briar Road. That's the boundary between Rolly's beat and the next one. Isn't that right, my love? Constable Beat. Beat! Yes, that's right. That's the reason I was helping out with alternative occupants of the Garrideb household yesterday. Their house is on my beat, you see, sir. That really was cutting it close, then. Constable, I wonder if you could clarify something. What is it, Sato? If the Garrideb household is on your beat, does that mean that the pavement next to it is as well? Outside Mr. Garrideb's house? Yes, ma'am. The pavement on that side of the street is part of my beat. I see. I was unaware of that. Just think, if the woman had been attacked just on the other side of the Briar Road, we would never have been able to go for that meal to celebrate our wedding anniversary. But that's the life of a bobby, after all.
Extraordinary people are bobbies, tirelessly working for the benefit of all Londoners.
Do you know what I think? I think it was the good Lord's way of rewarding my Rolly for all his hard work. Don't you think so, my darling? That must be it, Pat, my love. That must be it. I think perhaps we should make sure that we have all the information officially on record. Leave it to me, Mr. Naruhodo. I'll take care of it immediately. The case files information. The payment where the victims
just outside Constable Beat's beat, the border which runs down. Okay. And now it's my turn, I think. Okay. Obviously, if anything had been thrown out the window, we would have seen it.
Hold it!
Are you sure? But according to my notes here, the sun had gone down already and it was dark. Oh, but Rolly and I were strolling along, gazing at the night sky and looking for our lucky star. Sorry? The star that will guide us to eternal happiness. Can it guide you to answer the question? If a flaming book had cut across the sky in front of us, it would have lit up like a shooting star. And if I'd seen a shooting star, I would have made a wish upon it. Let Rolly be an inspector, I would have said, 3 times at least. Of course, what with the smog and everything, we couldn't actually see any stars. In short, are you trying to say that neither a book nor a knife crossed the sky before you? Yes, sir, that is correct, sir. As sure as the night sky and loneliness is starless, sir. It certainly seems like they're telling the truth. And we saw the poor woman fall to the ground, so we ran over to help her. I did leave the scene and go fetch help, but my trusty Rolly was there to make sure nothing was disturbed.
Hold it!
Did he? Did he make sure? Yeah, you said that you went to a nearby police box to fetch another officer, is that right? That's right, yes. If it had been on Rolly's beat, I would have known exactly where I was going, of course. Don't feel bad, my love. You can't be expected to know the location of every police box on every beat. So Rolly told me the way, only I sort of got a little lost on the way. Patricia, my darling, that's why I love you. Your terrible sense of direction is bewitching to me. Oh, Pat. Oh, Rolly. Okay, you two, calm down. Please. Oh, so I suppose I was gone about 15 minutes. But like I said, my Rolly was at the scene the whole time, making sure nothing was disturbed. I was off duty at the time, of course, but a true Bobby is never really off duty, sir. I didn't take my eye off the crime scene. That is a lie.
Hold it!
And you will answer my questions. Nothing to report. That's correct, sir. I had my eyes wide open the entire time, never looked away for a second. No one else approached the scene and nothing was removed from it. So you say. I can swear to that on the yard's honor, sir. I don't know about that one. Really? That seems a little strange. Beg your pardon, sir? Strange, sir? Seems altogether regular to me. This burnt copy of the Lion's Pride was originally in the Garrideb household. So the question remains, how did it find its way to the hand of the victim? Can you shed any light on that, seeing as you were at the scene of the crime the entire time? Is that an... Oh, he's drifting. Aha! Could it be a different copy, sir? One that just happened to be burnt as well? Even if that were possible, why would the victim have been gripping a book like that in her hand? As we see from this photographic print, she had a bag over her shoulder. Yeah, so what's up with that, huh? Well, sir, that book was in the lady's hand from the moment we arrived at the scene. Is that so? There's something about this statement that's not sitting right with me. The two mysteries of how that knife ended up in her back and how the book ended up in her hand. There must be some common thread between them. Yeah, let's see. Can I ask you something? Please, Mr. Lawyer, sir? Sure, go for it, I suppose. You're doubting us, aren't you? I can tell. I wasn't insinuating anything by asking you questions. Please, just because I'm a woman, it doesn't make my testimony any less valuable. You might see me as the wife of a policeman, but I'm a woman of my word, I am. I really don't remember ever suggesting that I doubted you. No excuses, I don't want to hear it. My voice will be heard. My lord, you'll let me speak, won't you?
Yes, Mrs. Beat, I will allow you to supplement your testimony if you so desire. Sometimes the path of least resistance is the sage one.
That was a very loud mutter. I heard that. That Japanese man thinks a policeman's wife's word count for nothing, does it? Does he? Well, watch out, sir. I might let you get away with something like that, but Rolly won't. Duly noted, Mrs. Beat. Please, I humbly ask you to continue. What could she possibly be about to say, I wonder? Yeah, what's up? I know what I saw. My eyes never let me down. My sense of direction is a little off sometimes, though.
Hold it!
What about it? What? Mrs. Beat, nobody is questioning that you've told us. I saw it. I did. That evening, I saw it clearly. That little Eastern man with the whiskers and the funny curved back, slinking away from the scene. Ah, yes, we get it. We get it. And I know that I didn't see. I know what I didn't see as well. I didn't see any flaming books or knives throwing through the sky. All very clear. I get that. You also mentioned something about having a poor sense of direction? Oh, yes, well, that's a little embarrassing, really. I'm always ended up at the wrong place when I've made arrangements to meet Rolly. He gets ever so cross. Yeah,
Excuse me.
You do seem rather upset about that. Constable B, is there a problem? Well, yeah. What is it? No, sir, no problem, sir. Did your wife's remark just now bring something to mind, perhaps? Oh, well, in a way, sir, yes, sir. I was just remembering that the same thing happened in that evening is all. Huh? What do you mean? Mrs. Beat lost her way on the night of the incident? Well, you see, I sent her off to find a police box in the beat over for mine, but she was gone a fair bit longer than what I was expecting. I thought she'd be back inside 10 minutes, but my darling was gone a good 15. Oh, Rolly, you're such a tease. But the reason I was so long was because the bouquet, silly. The bouquet? Sorry, what bouquet are you talking about? Oh, it was a present for our wedding anniversary. Rolly's so romantic. He saved up for it with farthings and happenings he found in the gutter while doing his rounds. Yeah, how romantic. I'd forgotten all about it until just now, had you, my darling? Yeah. Well, that was just between us. I'm not talking about it to anyone else, darling. You have to promise. Really? Oh. What was that all about? Constable Beat looked very obviously troubled during that exchange. I'm afraid I can't offer any useful insight, Mr. Naruhodo. But I'm quite sure of one thing. You have to ask Mrs. Beat about the bouquet. Mrs. Beat, this bouquet you just mentioned, I'd like you to add details about it to your testimony, please. Oh, really? Yes, I'd love to. Growl all you want, Van Zeeks. What happened was, I dropped my bouquet and ended up losing my way for a while.
Hold it!
Yeah, what about it? You mean you dropped the bouquet at the scene of the crime? Yes, that's right. So I was so upset. When we ran over, I saw it was a woman with a knife in her back. I was so shocked I dropped the bouquet Ruoli gave me. I was in a dark spot where the streetlights weren't casting any light, so I didn't notice at first. Bruh. And then you went to the police box to report it to the policeman whose beat it was on? Yes, and I came back to the scene together with the other constable, you see. That's when I spotted my bouquet again, but the funny thing was, when I went to pick it up, it was nowhere near the victim's body at all. In case you need reminding, Mrs. Beat, the victim is not deceased. I was all flustered for a moment before I heard a voice calling me from the other side of the road. Your husband, presumably? That's right, silly me, I'd gone over to the wrong side of the street. Although, I'm going to blame the bouquet this time. I can't think of how it got there, I really can't. So the bouquet somehow moved from one side of Briar Road to the opposite. Curious indeed. Isn't it? But the worst of it is, I forgot to pick the bouquet up again when we left the scene. That beautiful rose really got me, with that change from the gutter he spent so long collecting. By bouquet, do you perhaps mean this sorry solitary rose? Oh! Yes, that's it! That's the bouquet Rolly bought me for our anniversary, with old bits of change he found in the gutter. Maybe just call it a rose.
Tell us, Lord Van Zeeks, where did you come by the flower?
According to the report by the police officer in charge of the crime scene investigation, it was found on the edge of the pavement in front of the Garadeb household.
In front of the Garadeb's house?
Although it wasn't noticed until the morning, as it lay where the street lamps cast no light. It was believed to be of no relevance to the case, since it was found on the opposite side of the thoroughfare.
Oh, thank you, sir, thank you. Could I have it back now, please?
No, I think for good measure this road should be added to the court record as evidence.
Oh.
A present for Patricia Beat from her husband Rolly. The shock of seeing the stabbed victim caused Mrs. Beat to drop the rose where she stood. And she was on the opposite... No. So she was on... Wait, so it blew over to the other side, or what?
But it's a symbol of our love. I want it back after the trial. Do you hear me? I want it back.
Good grief, rest assured that I shall do my very best not to forget, Mrs. Beat.
I didn't take my eye off the crowd to see for one moment, sir. Nothing strange to report on that front, sir. Actually, let's look at the rose. Yes, I would like to examine. Anything about the rose?
An English rose. It's such a beautiful flower.
Ah, this is rose, is it? I've never seen one before.
Do you not take an interest in flowers, Mr. Naruhodo?
I wouldn't say that exactly, but I do know 3 types at least.
Gosh, 3?
Yeah, plum blossom, peach blossom, and cherry blossom.
Perhaps you should consider branching out, learning some that aren't fruit tree based, for example.
Okay, is there anything relevant in here? Maybe something inside? Not that I can see. It is taped at the bottom for some reason. I wonder why that is. It's a very stylish paper the flower's wrapped in, isn't it?
It's just an old newspaper, Mr. Naruhodo.
Oh, I suppose it's because I'm not used to seeing English print. It looks so exotic to me.
Ah, I
see. Is something wrong?
Oh, no. I was just thinking that if you wrapped a stone-baked sweet potato in English newspaper, it might look like some sort of fancy cake.
Ah, Susato-san, you do love your cakes. That is a little weird. Is she talking... Is this like... Is this one of like the newspapers that Gregson was eating his potatoes out of? I mean, either way, it's not relevant right now.
Hold it!
So you 100% fell asleep. Nothing to report. Wise open, never looked away, no one approached, and nothing was removed. No wait. That seems a little strange. Seems all together. Burned copy, how did it find its way? Okay, yeah, we were already through this. Different copy, nope. This is the exact copy. Okay. There's something in this in it. Okay. Must be some common thread. Mr. Naruhodo, what do you make of all this? Yeah, I don't know. The whole idea of an invisible attacker has been troubling me all along. Probably I'm starting to get a picture of what really happened here now. Are you? Because I'm not. I have no clue. The 4th book that had no business being at the scene of the crime made me sure that Mrs. Garrett was hiding something from us. But it's becoming increasingly clear that someone else has been hiding something from us as well. I think I may already be armed with everything I need to strike a decisive blow here. This time, it's going to expose the whole truth about this mysterious affair. Oh God! Has nothing to do with Mr. and Mrs. Garrett. But then, what about the book? God, stop that. Maybe presenting the book, like, has nothing to do with them, but it does. God, I'm so nervous. I'm just putting it. Oh God, it was wrong. Damn it. No. Don't call me an idiot, please.
I fail to see the connection.
Oh.
And for heaven's sake, would you kindly desist from that wide-eyed, panic-stricken look you want to wear?
That's the only panic-stricken look I know. Okay, so it's not that. Nothing to do. Okay, so it's not that. Windows are top hinged. If anything had been thrown out the window, we would have seen it. Leave the scene and fetch help, but my trusty Roy was there to make sure nothing was disturbed. So if nothing was disturbed, can we present the book to her? Because nothing was... But if nothing was disturbed, how would the flower have gotten on the other side? What happened
was a drop. Oh man. I mean, you lost your way. You didn't take your crime for a moment. But something was disturbed. That's the thing. I mean, I'm gonna present it. I'm gonna present the book, or maybe the photograph. Nothing was disturbed. Oh no, because the book was already there. So if nothing was disturbed, it would be the flower.
Objection!
Please, no! Damn it! Okay. Okay, let's just... Yep, you are... Damn it. Okay. I don't think it's an evidence, and I really don't want to go through this entire thing again. Oh, man. Nebulas. Oh, man. I have no idea. Okay, no. Okay, I think it has something to do with either the rose or the rose or his card. And if the rose wasn't for that, okay, so if the rose wasn't for hers, maybe it's for his. Oh god, I'm so nervous. Oh god, please be correct. Yes? The music stopped. Oh, thank god. My one chance is still here. You claim, Constable Beat, that there's nothing to report in the 15 or so minutes you regarding the scene, but that cannot be. What do you mean to say? In your testimony just now, Mrs. B, you explained to the court that when you arrived back at the scene of the crime with the policeman assigned to that beat, the bouquet you had dropped at the victim's side was no longer anywhere nearby. Yes, on the opposite side of Briar Road to where the victim was attacked. But considering the size of that meager bouquet, if a single sorry bloom can be so described, no doubt it was blown in the wind across the street back to the gutter where it belongs. Meeker?
Objection!
Hey, no. But if that were the case, why did Constable Beat not testify to the fact? That it was windy? No one else approached the scene and nothing was removed from it. Constable Beat swore to that on Scotland Yard's honor. But the bouquet belonged to me. It has nothing to do with the case. That's why Rolly didn't mention it, I'm sure. No, because sadly it's not only your bouquet we're talking about here. More than one thing in this case is mysteriously the wrong way around. What are you talking about? Think about it. Besides Mrs. Beat's bouquet, there's Mr. Garadeb's book. Why is it there? Mr. Garadeb's copy of The Lion's Pride, which was thrown out of the window by his wife, would have struck the pane of the casement window and landed here on the west side of the street. And yet, it was found in the victim's hand on the opposite side of the street. Yep. Meanwhile, according to the testimony we've heard, that Mrs. Beast's bouquet should have been dropped here at the scene of the crime on the east side of the street, but in fact, it was actually found here on the opposite side of the road in front of Mr. and Mrs. Garadeb's house. There's no logical explanation for those things, unless somebody deliberately moved them. Ooh. What are you trying to say? The way you're talking, it makes you it sounds like you think my Rolly did something wrong. Don't you listen to a word that scrawny lawyer says? Wittering on about books and bouquets? Why should we care? It's nitpicking, that's what it is. Oh, good. Mrs. Garadeb's come round. You might call it nitpicking, Mrs. Garadeb, but deliberately meddling with the scene of a crime is a criminal offense. It's called, what's it called again? Tampering, Mr. Naruhodo. But the person responsible for this tampering cannot admit to it for a very subtle but compelling reason. Tampering? You've barely heard the term before. Tell us, my learned friend, who would have possibly have caused to carry out an elaborate deception? The only person there was Rolly, right? All the evidence and all testimony points to that one particular person.
Counsel, I must demand that you substantiate this conjecture. Who are you saying was responsible for tampering with the scene of the crime?
Oh god, luckily it wasn't space, because I was pressing space. Okay, so it's not Gregson. I can't imagine it's Gregson. Iris, no. Garadeb, no. Garadeb, no. Sholmes, no. Olive Green is literally one of these three. But, I mean, she was already on the ground, so it couldn't have been her. So it's one of these two, and she left. So I feel like that literally, it can only be Rolly.
Take that!
Obviously, there's only one person it could have been. Constable Rolly beat. It was you!
What? A policeman? A member of Scotland Yard?
What nonsense! Why would my Rolly do something like that? There's no one straighter than my husband. Nobody works more tirelessly for the sake of London.
Mrs. B, you said in your testimony that your husband asked you to go to a nearby police box to fetch the officer on duty. The 15 minutes you were absent from the scene is the only opportunity anyone had to tamper with it.
You're making it up. It's all nonsense. It's all lies. What about that Japanese man with the whiskers? I bet it was him. He did it.
No, because we know he ran away. If that was true, Constable B would have seen him do it.
Oh. And forgive me for pointing it out, but when you dropped your bouquet, Mrs. Beat, it was after the defendant had fled the scene. Oh, well...
Objection!
What is your point here? First you make an accusation about the landlord and his wife, and now you incriminate a policeman as well. But your accusations lack one very important thing. What is it? You claim the crime scene was tampered with. But there's only one reason anyone would commit such a reckless crime: to hide something.
That's right, he's right. But my husband and I just happened to be there, that's all. So why would we have anything to hide? It doesn't make sense.
You've offered no motive for this alleged tampering, and until you do, your accusations are nothing but empty threats.
Well, shit.
What do we have to present? Constable B had a very good reason for wanting to tamper with the scene of the crime. That's the key to this entire affair.
Mr. Naruhodo, have you managed to solve this mystery?
Counsel, you have made a very serious accusation against a London police officer. If you are mistaken, I'm sure I need not point out that your reputation as a lawyer will be irrevocably damaged.
Okay, I am aware of this.
With that stark warning in mind, we will now explain to the court the motive for this alleged tampering.
Yes, my lord. Oh god, here it goes. Come on, Ryunosuke, focus up. What is it? Constable Beat's motive for tampering with the crime scene was to where the book fell, where the bouquet fell, where the victim fell. Well, the book and the bouquet, it can't be one without the other. So, like, if I say where the book fell, that doesn't make any sense because the bouquet is on the other side of the road tool. Same with the bouquet. Oh! It was on his beat! It was on his beat, so oh my god. Okay, so she actually did die? Or no, she didn't die, but she got shanked right underneath the window? And since it was on his beat, he wanted it to be on the opposite side. Oh my god. Yeah, where the victim fell. Because if it was on his beat, he would have had to stay and do all the paperwork and stuff, so they would have missed the anniversary dinner. That has to be it. That has to be it. That is what this Bobby had to cover up at all costs. What?
Where the victim fell? You mean where she was attacked? What are you talking about? We told you at the very start, didn't we? On the pavement of Briar Road. We saw it happen, remember? It was right here, as if anyone didn't already know. That's certainly what everyone has been led to believe. But in fact, that isn't where the victim was stabbed at all. What? What?
Yeah, no, she wasn't stabbed there. She was stabbed under the window.
I'm beginning to wonder where this tumultuous trial will end, Counsel.
If that's your assertion, then the court is dying to know, my Nipponese friend. Where are you proposing that the crime actually took place that evening?
Well, it would be right here.
But that's...
On the opposite side of the road?
I don't understand.
On the evening in question, Mr. Garredeb's book fell directly down from the open window above, and your bouquet, Mrs. Beat, never moved at all. What did move was the scene of the crime itself.
Good gracious!
Yeah, he was like, no, I ain't got to... So, that also explains why he was face down in the snow when she came back, because he was already dead tired from walking 20 miles, and he just moved a heavy person to the other side of the road.
Perhaps you haven't been listening to the ample testimony this court has heard. But these witnesses both saw the moment the attack took place.
That's right, I saw it with my own eyes.
It was 5 o'clock in the evening and already dark. There was the typical London fog on the ground. When you saw the incident unfold and ran to the victim's aid, that was actually on the west side of Briar Road.
No, that's not true. It can't have been.
Constable Beat then arranged for you to be absent for a while by sending you for help. And during the 15 minutes you were away, he transplanted the crime scene. He moved all the things shown in this print, the victim herself, the 4 books. He moved everything, in fact, to the pavement on the east side of Briar Road.
Extraordinary!
But the constable overlooked one thing.
What? What did he overlook?
The bouquet, I presume?
The bouquet, precisely, Van Zeeks.
The prosecution told the court just a few minutes ago about the discovery of the rose bouquet. Lord Van Zeek said it wasn't noticed until this morning, as it lay where the street lamps cast no light.
Yes, it couldn't be seen in the dark, obviously.
Which is why it was only the bouquet that was found in its original position on the pavement on the west side of Briar Road. And that is the defense's theory about what really happened that evening. How do you respond, Constable Rolly Beat? Are you still asleep or are you awake? What's going on here? Well, I'm very sorry. I didn't mean to nod off again, but I haven't slept properly in a month. Did I miss anything important?
Oh, Rolly. It isn't true, is it? That the lawyer said is all lies, isn't it? I know it is, because you're the most upstanding, righteous man I know.
I had a dream, a terrible dream. All the things I did that night, everything come out, everything exposed. What? Ugh! Only it seems it wasn't a dream at all.
Good golly! He moved the scene of the crime! Order! What on earth is the meaning of all this?
Oh, Rolly, why? Why would you do something like this? Moving a corpse is a criminal offense, isn't it?
We were gonna miss our anniversary, dear. Wishing the victim's dead should be one too.
Constable, explain yourself. Why would you do this? As a respected member of Scotland Yard, your duty is to protect the good people of London Town.
I can't say, sir. What? I know why. I really am ever so sorry about all this. For damaging the Yard's reputation. For everything. But we need to know why. Why? I have a possible explanation.
Ugh!
For why, on that particular evening, Constable Beat felt compelled to move the scene of the crime. I can think of one reason.
What? How could you possibly know? You, a foreigner, presuming to understand the mind of a Scotland Yard policeman?
Bro, it's not hard to understand human nature. We're all fucking people.
And yet, Lord Van Zeeks, it is this foreigner who has uncovered the startling truth of the matter thus far.
Ugh. You foreigner.
I believe it would be beneficial to the court to hear his extraordinary young lawyer's theory. Counsel for the defense, if you please.
Yes, my lord.
Now then, I think you had better show us some evidence.
At once, my lord. England, Japan, it makes no difference where you come from, human emotions are the same. And I think I have a fairly good idea of the feelings behind this man's action. What gives away Motable for Constable Beat's unthinkable actions? It would be the warrant card. Can I examine it and present this? I can't present the back of the beat in which they're discovered. So yeah, that's the warrant card. It has to be. Please, it has to be. I realize that I'm a foreigner in this land, and I've only just arrived from Japan, which is why all this information about London's so-called bobbies is completely new to me. I've learned that though honorable, patrolling the beat is the most demanding work in the world, for example.
Keeping the peace, looking after the citizens of this beat in all kinds of ways. There's no doubt that the young Bobby is charged with a great deal to do each day, certainly.
But for Constable Beat, the day in question was special.
Special? How?
On account of this bouquet, my lord. Remember?
Oh, yes. It was our very first wedding anniversary.
Ugh.
Constable Beat had worked so hard to be able to afford this simple gift for his wife, and was so looking forward to taking her out for a celebratory meal.
When he and Mrs. Beat stumbled upon a crime along Briar Road. When he saw that shadowy figure through the fog collapse on the pavement ahead of them, what must have gone through the man's mind?
But sir, just on that one particular day, I was looking forward to celebrating my wedding anniversary. Mrs. Beat puts up with a lot being married to a bobby like me. I wanted to show my dear wife how much I care. Isn't that right, Rolly? This is the warrant card that Constable Beat offered to lend to me earlier. Inside, among the rules for patrolling policemen, it says, when a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with initial investigations and help detectives. Oh! Constable Beat. Is that, or is that not the reason why you moved the whole scene of the crime that day?
Yes.
Yeah, woo! Alternative explanation for everything! Everything you said, it's all right.
So that's it. It was all to do with the boundary of your beat.
Oh.
Exactly. We got his ass. We got to the truth.
To summarize, the incident actually occurred on a Constable Beat's beat.
Good gracious, Constable! Do you realize the gravity of what you've done?
Yeah, I mean, not only that, but you also, like, rolled around someone who's bleeding from a knife wound. It was the first time since I became a copper that I'd ever cursed God. Stay close to me, Pat. The criminal could be lurking around somewhere. As we ran over to the scene, I had every intention of doing my duty as a police officer. We've got to report this to the station as quickly as possible. But then, it dawned on me. I realized where we were, where the victim was lying, and what that meant for me. When a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with initial investigations and help detectives. Why here? Why did this have to happen here? And why tonight, of all nights? Why? So you rolled over someone who was already bleeding, probably lodged the knife further into her. It's a copper's job to gauge the scene of the crime, so I told Pat she'd have to go to the nearest police box and fetch whoever was on duty there. It was then, when I opened my mouth to speak, it just came out. I couldn't believe the words that were coming out of my own mouth. This is the next beat to mine, Pat. So you'll have to go to the police box that covers it, turn right along Mearsham Street, and then... Oh no. That's what happened. You damn dirty lying cop. You put a bad name on the cops' names. Yep, so that's what really... Did the knife actually, like, fall out the window then and stab her? Oh my god, he's crying. I'm... Oh my god, he's like... I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh, Constable. I just wanted, just that one night, to take my Patricia out for dinner. Oh, Rolly, just that one night. You knew that if the incident was on your beat, your evening of celebration would be ruined. And so you decided to move the entire crime scene outside your jurisdiction, just across the street to the east pavement of Briar Road, which falls under the neighboring beat's care. You see, I thought, well, I was sure the victim was dead, you see.
I beg your pardon?
Oh, of course he did. Otherwise my Rolly would never have left the poor woman on the freezing cold pavement.
Yeah, I see your meaning now. But God got me back for my sins, didn't he? That's why I missed the rose I bought for Pat.
Oh no, Rolly, that was all my fault. I should never have dropped it in such a dark place. I'm so sorry, Rolly.
So your only regret is that you didn't hide it better. And can you tell us, Constable, how many books did you move from one side of the road to the other in total? 4 it was. Yes, definitely, 4. 3 of them dropped by Mr. Natsume, and the 4th being the one that fell from the window upstairs in the Gerardev's household, of course. But what made you place that book in the victim's hand? When all the others were scattered haphazardly around, I mean. Oh, well, sir, that's because that's how I found it. How you found it? What do you mean? When we first ran over to the scene, the victim was already holding the book. So, when I moved everything, I made sure it was still in her hand. You're sure it was this book, The Lion's Pride, that the victim was holding? Oh, yes, sir. No doubt about it, sir. Interesting. The 4th book's information... Yeah, okay. A little weird. I'm not sure... Okay. I thought it was an open and shut case at the time, you see. It was obviously the guy who was running away from the scene of the crime. It's always the guy who's running away from the scene of the crime. However, which way you looked at it, it had to be the fellow who ran off who done it, I thought. I couldn't see the harm, really. I didn't think moving it all over the road would make a jot of a difference. I suppose this is it for me now. I've had it. Oof. My lord.
Yes, Lord Van Zeeks?
I believe that concludes the cross-examination of the witnesses. Oh, wait, is he bowing to me? Constable, you may withdraw. Yes, sir.
Mr. Prosecutor, sir? What will become of my Rolly? What will happen to him?
For now, you are free to go home. The police will contact you in due course.
Please, don't punish my husband. This was all my fault. It's because I'm always moaning at him for coming home late.
No, it's just... Leave it now, Pat. Let's go home. I'm tired. In more ways than one, am I right? One last thing, Constable. Sir? Let this be a lesson to you. In a criminal investigation, every detail matters, however insignificant it may seem to you. Yes, sir. Carve that lesson in your mind. So the knife actually did, like, fall from the window into her, maybe, ricocheted a weird way and just lodged itself in her back? Man. Maybe that's why the angle was weird, because he had to get her to the other side of the street, and in that course, the knife probably slipped a bit. Or, moved. Oh, man, that sucks. Yeah, no, she was bleeding even more because of that, then. That's probably why she hasn't woken up. Never again, sir? You mean to say... Leave.
Now, this trial is not yet over.
Sir! How is that treated? Like, if you... So, if Mrs. Garadeb threw the knife just out the window, and it happened to injure someone, or even kill someone, she would be guilty of manslaughter, right?
Whoever thought of a third party transplanting the entire scene of a crime like that?
Indeed, my lord. Nevertheless, there are some immutable facts here. Principally, that the accused, Mr. Soseki Natsume, is the only person who could have possibly committed the crime.
Hello? Knife out the window? No, I disagree. Now that we know the true scene of the incident, there's someone else. Another person who could be responsible for the knife in the victim's back. Forgive me for being presumptuous, but I believe the prosecution is probably well aware of this possibility already.
Lord Van Zeeks, is this true?
Ugh, damn. Very well. Name the person if you will, and if further investigation is warranted...
Whoa. I have to like, present someone? I have to... There's someone I have to present? Oh, God. It's Mrs. Garadeb, right? It has to be Garadeb. She's the one who threw the knife? Yeah, because these two stumbled upon it. Can't be. She wouldn't stab herself. Wasn't Zeeks, wasn't Sholmes. Probably wasn't Mr. Garadeb. Iris, it wasn't. Soseki, it wasn't. Gregson, okay. Yeah, no. I think it has to be Joan Garadeb.
Take that!
Please, this is my last chance. This is my last chance game! The defense would once again like to request the cross-examination of a new witness, my lord. Once again? My assistant made the same request earlier, in order to finally reveal the truth about this case. It's imperative that we cross-examine juror number 4, Mrs. Joan Garadeb.
Objection!
We don't need to do that. That request has already been denied. Under those circumstances, the situation is very different now. There are no witnesses in the stand, Van Zeeks. Mrs. Garadeb, answer me this. What do you want thou, you little toad? At the time of the incident, you were engaged in a violent argument with your husband, Mr. John Garadeb. In the course of the argument, a minor house fire was ignited, and to clear the smoke from the room, your husband opened a window that looks over Briar Road. Well, what of it? You threw this book at your husband when he was cornered with his back against the window. Oh, that's what it was! The book fell down, she bent down and picked it up, and then the knife sank into her back. Oh! Finding its way to what we now know to be the true scene of the incident. Yes, and as I said, what of it? During the argument, you were beside yourself with rage. As such, you threw not just books, but anything you could lay your hands on. Yeah, you see where I'm going with this, huh? So, let me ask you one more time, Mrs. Garadeb. Please this time answer. This knife, the one removed from the victim's back, have you really never laid eyes on it before? No! Did you throw it? Did you throw it, Garadeb? What? Huh? Was it you? Huh? I don't recall it. Seriously? Am I supposed to remember everything I picked up and threw at my husband? And anyway, the man over there in all that regalia said members of the jury needn't testify, didn't he? Conveniently, yes.
Objection!
Oh? No, I have no recollection of saying that at all, juror number 4. Oh! Make no mistake, you jurors are not special in any way. You are not immune to the judicial process. If you know something about this knife, madam, let the truth come out. But that's just a common or garden knife. It could have come from anywhere. We have several like that at home. If one went missing, how would you expect me to know? What's that? Are you joking?
What are you saying, please, Mrs. Garadeb?
You didn't notice, so you noticed a knife missing. Now you listen to me. I refuse to believe all this nonsense. I couldn't bear the thought that I'd injured someone. Do you hear? I couldn't bear it. Oh, the poor woman. So, yes, I want evidence. I want to see hard evidence that you're going to insist on this being my fault. You're
going to have to prove to me that I threw that knife if that's what you think. Come along now, chop chop, do your worst. Well, Mr. Naruhodo, if I had evidence like that, believe me, I would have thrown it at her already.
Then take the stand, juror.
Oh,
The prosecution does not object to the defense's request to cross-examine this woman.
Wait, so like, is Van Zeeks not actually just out to get us? Does he actually want to know what happened?
I'm going to have to testify.
Juror number 4. As I'm sure you will appreciate, having observed it with your own eyes today. Witness testimony can lead to the most extraordinary truths being unearthed. Truths of which the witnesses themselves may not have even been aware. Oh, dearie me. So I demand your full and unadulterated testimony, Mrs. Garrido. And mark my words, in this court of law today, we shall extract the truth. Do you concur, counsels?
Certainly, my lord.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm hoping for, my lord. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Take the stand. This is such a strange feeling. For the first time since arriving in this country, it actually feels real. That you're a lawyer? That you're a big shot lawyer, man? I'm here, in the Old Bailey, and I'm a lawyer. Crazy. Crazy stuff happening.
Witness, state your name and occupation.
Yes, my name is John Garrido. And I'm a juror and such like.
It sounds like even she doesn't know if she's a housewife or a maid, or what anymore.
The court has decided your testimony is required in order to clarify matters in this case. Do you understand, madame?
Yes, my lord.
You will tell the court everything that took place in your household on the evening in question.
And I warn you, do not attempt to hide the truth.
Oh, dearie me.
Chin up.
Chin up, Joni. Nothing to worry about now. Holy shit. It's him.
Oh, I didn't know you were here, John.
Wasn't only you in the room that day, old thing, wasn't. Rather think I ought to testify as well, don't you?
What about you, dear?
Don't you worry about that. Hardly notice it. I'm not the sort of champ to lead a comrade to save fish on the meal.
Oh, John.
I presume you are Mr. John Garrido? Yes, sir. Former lieutenant of the 3rd Regiment of 4th North Star Fusiliers, sir. Seen my fair share of action and now living the quiet life, as it were.
The quiet life? Were you not engaged in an incendiary battle with your spouse on the day in question?
Oh, well, yes, quite. I believe this may represent a first in the proud history of the British court. Calling a juror to the witness stand is unprecedented. However, the court will hear your testimony now, juror number 4, and that of your husband. You will recount clearly and concisely the events at your home at the time this incident took place.
I feel like those weren't the words that were supposed to be read.
Sir, at once.
Witness testimony. Okay, what's going on now? The Battle of Garrido.
Yes, on the day you're referring to, the wife and I did have a bit of a skirmish. Can't recall the reason now. Named our cattle, stood over, set fire to the carpet, soon headed out though, and got the window open.
Meanwhile, I was picking up whatever I could find to throw at him.
Plenty of knives around our place. Can't say I'd notice if 1 or 2 went missing, I'm afraid. If that bally thing in the victim's back really was one of ours, you'd have a job proving it, I think. It sounds as though it was quite the battlefield in your household that evening.
Although an entirely one-sided assault, it seems.
The enemy caught us on the hop, sir. Had no choice but to give in and take defensive measures. To be honest, if the enemy had kept shelling us for another minute, we'd have been toast. Of course, a veteran such as myself is only too aware that on every battlefield, you're just a gnat's whisker from death at any moment.
What was that like ping? What was that ping sound? Are we still talking about a marital quarrel here?
Well, I must say I'm dubious that this testimony will shed any light on the origins of this jackknife.
In combat, one's focus narrows such that surroundings are barely noticed. These witnesses may not be able to offer anything more than they have testified already. This may be a dead end.
Van Zieks may well be right. Well, whatever the chances, we only have this one last cross-examination to uncover the truth, Mr. Naruhodo. Yeah, I'm afraid so.
Very well, counsel. Begin your cross-examination.
I almost gave him just the posh British. Cross-examination.
Battle of Gyarados. I only have one shot. You did have a bit of a skirmish, can't recall the reason. You do know the reason. Marital dispute. The reason is what you told us yesterday, I believe. Yes, that's right. If I remember correctly, it all started because of a note that was tucked into the pages of a book belonging to Mr. Gyarados. A rather passionate note, in fact. But Mrs. Gyarados found the note, discovering her husband's little secret, and she gave him a mighty number of slaps across the face for it, too.
What a sordid state of affairs.
Hell on earth.
I say, when a chap says he can't recall such things, it's common decent not to drag it up. And besides, heaven was wide of the mark anyway. Maybe. Joan?
Unlikely story. These waters run very deep.
And what transpired next after these multiple blows to the face?
Knocked the candlestick over and set fire to the carpet. Okay. Hold it! It set fire not only to the carpet, but to the bookshelf. And the fire also spread to some items of furniture, didn't it?
The bookcase, my armchair, anything of mine really. Just so happens there was some bathwater around that evening, so I sloshed that out to put it out. A most precarious situation to put yourself in. I was in a 3-story house down on the west side of the street where the water main isn't connected yet. Have to draw water from the main water pump during the day if you need any, you see.
The lodgers are always mourning that they can't get any water at night. Although that little mustache Japanese man buys water in bottles, I believe.
The defendant, Mr. Natsume, you mean?
Yes, he receives a stipend for his studies, you know, from his home country. Can you imagine being able to brew a pot of tea at all hours? He's obviously very well off.
Have you actually seen the state of the man?
I believe he uses all of his income to buy books.
Well, anyway, the point is, I was able to douse the fire with water, fortunately enough.
Okay. Next one. Picking up whatever I can find to throw at him. Okay. So you could have thrown a knife, even though the room was on fire?
As far as I was concerned at the time, it was more important to extinguish my anger than the flames. When a woman wants to throw, she must throw. That is most certainly not true of a Susato takedown, Mr. Naruhodo. How did she know I was thinking of that? So, please cast your mind back and try to remember. Was a knife among the items that you threw at your husband that day? In all honesty, I don't recall. But I feel I must point out that I'm no monster. Let me see. Some bread, a cabbage, garlic, a towel, and a sponge, a napkin.
A napkin, you say? What about the napkin is so, interesting? Do you have something to add, sir? Yeah? That's very, very interesting words you're saying. You're spewing out of your mouth right now.
Oh, sorry. I beg your pardon?
Did your wife's remark just now bring something to mind?
None of any significance, no. Just that the barrage of projectiles the old thing launched in my direction is somewhat more solid than she implies. Books, bricks, and the fire poker, I seem to recall.
Ouch.
And the woman's aim is uncanny. She landed a direct hit with nearly every good grief, Joan! We're not at home. This is a court.
Oh, dearie me, I'm so sorry, dear.
She's not sorry. She's never been sorry. She's never been sorry about throwing anything at him. What's she even doing with a teapot in here?
Honestly, John, I would never throw such things at you, obviously.
So you say. Well, take a look at this then. How do you suppose that happened,
Your pipe, sir?
Had this thing in my hand as usual at the time of the onslaught. Knocked it clean out with one of her soft projectiles she did, yes. When I went to pick the thing up, it was broken in two. Only to see a sponge do that sort of damage.
I see, your pipe was broken.
It would never have been sent flying unless it was hit by something pretty solid. Anyway, I've managed to bend the thing up for now.
You all want to exaggerate, are you, dear?
I don't know what we should make of this account. It could be important, that is true.
The defendant believes Mr. Garrett's remarks just now to be of great significance.
Objection!
This war veteran's words only tell us one thing. Betray a fiery wife and pipes, as well as hearts, may be broken. Sentimental wisdom, perhaps, but hardly worthy of adding to the formal testimony.
Indeed, common sense. Indeed, common sense, one might say.
Might one? In that case, would you at least permit us to examine the pipe, sir?
Well, I don't see why not.
Oh, dearie me, there you go again, trying to integrate yourself with a young lady.
Oh my god, if we find the shard of the knife in there, that's just conclusive evidence. Please tell me that the shard of the knife is inside of it.
Hope I didn't speak out of turn, Mr. Naruto. I was just feeling rather disappointed for you that your request was turned down.
Oh, no, it's fine. Thanks. That actually got us somewhere.
We should examine it carefully.
Well, thank you for that. Rebuttal, Mr. Garrideb. Now, if we could return to the crux of the matter. What can you tell the court about the knife that was used to attack the victim?
Plenty of knives around our place. Can't say if I noticed one or two went missing. Hold on. Can we actually, like, look at that now? Yeah, let's examine it. Oh, that's like a solid chip. Bruh! Bro! It is right there! Oh, something just twinkled inside the chamber of the pipe here. Yes, I saw it. Something's stuck in there, I think. Let's turn it over and give it a shake. Ooh, what's this? It's a tiny fragment of metal. It looks like the tip of a blade or something. The tip of a blade? Surely. It couldn't be. It was stuck inside the bowl of Mr. Garrideb's pipe. Okay, well, that's excellent. Really weird how it never popped out with you, like, because you've tilted it upside down since then, I think. It looks to be in a sorry state with that bandage around it, doesn't it? For some reason, it feels slightly ominous to me, like it's trying to shout out a warning. Probably because it's the same blue as Mr. Garrideb's dressing gown. I suppose it must have considerable sentimental value to Mr. Garrideb, given that he's gone to the trouble of repairing it like this. Either that, or he can't afford to replace it. Okay. So let's examine this. This is the tiny piece of metal we found in the chamber of Mr. Garrideb's pipe. It looks like the tip of a blade or something. The tip of a blade? Yo, don't we know something like that? Is something wrong, Mr. Naruto? I don't really know. There's just something niggling me, but I can't quite put my finger on what it is. Perhaps in that case, it would be wise to examine some of the other pieces of evidence again. You know it's part of the knife. Oh my god. If we, like, examine this again, can we, like, whoop, open that? Yes. Oh, look here, Mr. Naruto, just at the tip. A small piece of the blade appears to be missing. Wait, part of it's missing? I could be wrong, but I've just got a feeling. You remember this? Ah, that's the tiny fragment of metal we found inside Mr. Garrideb's pipe. Yeah, and just maybe... Oh my, it's a perfect fit. Somehow, I just knew it. Okay. A larger tip of which have broken... Okay. Can't say if you went... That probably thing is it really was one of ours. You'll have a job proving it.
Oh, proving it, you say?
Oh, I will present this jackknife. No, it's wrong! What do you mean? No! No, don't make me do that all again! No! Shit! Oh, God! Ah, the victim's dead! The victim's dead! Oh, God, no! God, no, please! Can I, hold on, can I, like, reset just from the scene right away, or can I, no, it's not, okay, I just have to, spam W. I am aware, it's guilty, I get it, please, yes, you don't have to drag this out. Yes, guilty. 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 Yes, I am aware. I am hitting spacebar with the ferocity of 10 Light Awakeners right now. Literally using speedrunner hacks. I'm like
tensing up my arm and just fucking going to town on it. God! Guilty! Yes, I get it! I get it! Guilty! And he's being sentenced to being hung. I get it. I understand. I get where you're coming from. Apparently, I chose the wrong thing. Which means I have to go through that entire thing again. Retry from the start of the... Can I hit no? No, yeah, I have to... I got from the start of the whole scene. Okay. Okay, let's do this again. At least we know which it was. Oh, wait. We don't have it, do we? No, we don't have it. Okay. It was U. Hold it! Okay, let's press U. And then he gets, like, all jittery. Okay, yep. Susato takedown. Susato takedowns are very important for marital disputes. I think that's the one thing I've gathered from this entire court case. Bread, cabbage, garlic, towel, sponge.
Jupiter! Excuse me!
Now, let's go grab the pipe, let's grab the knife out of the pipe, and let's re-examine the evidence, I suppose. Maybe it wasn't the knife we were supposed to present? I don't know. Yeah, we're not at home, Joan. You can't have some domestic abuse not domestically. It can only be in your house. That's why it's called domestic abuse. If you could abuse him in court, it'd be called a judicial abuse. Your pipe was broken. Yep. Let us see your pipe, please. I would like to see your pipe. I'd like to examine your pipe, and I would like to get through all of this information again. It could be important. Yes,
Objection!
Come on. Let's go. Go. Wait, what's going on? This is... blah, 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 blah. Are you serious? I was so convinced that I got that right that I looked it up. Apparently I was supposed to present the knife tip, not the knife. That's so annoying. I am very annoyed. It should be the same thing. It's still his knife, and you can still tell that it was, you know, part of it. Okay, let's examine this again. Let's grab... There we go. I still have no idea how you didn't notice that in there. It's like, I feel like that just indicates that he just kind of has the pipe for show and has never used it. Because if you have a pipe and you try to smoke out of it, you instantly know if there's like a blockage or anything like that. Let's open this again. So yeah, I think that either means that he doesn't smoke out of it, or he hasn't smoked out of it since. And that was last night? Or was it no, was it last night or the night before? I can't remember. Yep, it's a perfect fit. Yep. It's crazy. It's crazy how that works. So now this updates. It's perfect fit. Okay. Okay, so this is what I present. Still annoying that I can't present one or the other, and then I have to present a specific one. And that was my last chance. The fact that that's why I'm so tilted, because that was my last chance. Could I ask you to take a good look at this, please?
You can ask, but I can't see a bully thing.
You can't?
Used to call me 10 back in the regiment, of course, but that was some time ago now. Even when I'm trying to enjoy a large print book by the fire these days, I struggle to tell a B from a D and a P from a Q, to be honest.
Oh, he does, Jamie. It's rather weird being asked about every other letter and every other word. You must be very dussy. Dussy. What is that? A tiny scrap of metal? Yeah, actually. Almost certainly from the tip of a blade. The very blade that we have in front of us right now! Preposterous. Interesting. And where did the defense come by this evidence?
It was lodged in the chamber of Mr. Garadeb's pipe.
My pipe, you say? Hello! Oh my god, I wonder how long it's been in there. Since last night, I assume? And what precisely does this fragment of metal signify, Council? Are you suggesting that it is in some way related to the matter of the stabbing on Briar Road?
Yes, because that means that the knife she threw bounced off the pipe. I am.
What?
When put together with another piece of evidence already in court record, I believe this tiny fragment of metal will unravel the whole truth of this case, my lord.
Oh my god, his clothes...
I didn't even realize the back of his clothes are all burnt.
You appear rather confident in that extraordinary statement, Counsel. Very well then, present the pertinent evidence to the court. What evidence, when paired with this fragment of metal, allegedly reveals the truth of this entire case?
Why? It would be... Hold on. I'm not going to be punked again. Do I have to present the actual tip? Do I have to present the actual tip? Okay, no, I don't present the tip. It's not just the tip. It's not just... Yeah, he... Like, his whole back was burnt, Power. Like, his heart undies were showing. Okay. It's the knife. It has to be the knife. Please don't tell me I'm wrong. Again. This is the knife that was found in the victim's back. If you look closely, you'll see that there's a small piece at the tip of the blade that's missing.
A common issue with the inferior blades sold at unsavory street markets. Criminals who use them regularly leave the tips lodged in their victims' bones.
And what of this particular knife?
No doubt its tip has suffered a similar fate, now languishing somewhere near the spine of the victim.
No, for you see, the tip is right here. That's not the case.
Ugh.
The tip of this particular knife's blade is the very fragment of metal we discovered in the chamber of Mr. Garadeb's pipe.
Oh! Ah! You fucking shot me with logic.
Good grief, Lord Van Zeeks!
I don't believe it. The knife from the crime scene and this fragment of metal are a perfect match.
Good golly gosh!
Oh, guess it's not hard undies, guess it's striped undies.
Order, order, order! Is this some sort of Eastern sorcery?
This is no magic, my lord. This is a miracle.
A miracle?
So Van Zeeks has figured it out, has he?
Counsel, explain this extraordinary coincidence at once!
Yes, my lord. The crucial point we have to ask ourselves here is when did the fragment of metal find its way inside Mr. Garadeb's pipe? Something that was clarified for us in the most recent witness testimony.
Had this thing in my hand as usual, didn't have an onslaught. Knocked it clean out with one of those assault projectiles she did, yes. It would never have been sent flying unless it was hit by something pretty solid.
You just doomed yourself, man.
Oh, dearie me. Fuck.
During the argument between these two that occurred just as the victim was on the pavement below, Mrs. Garadeb flung this knife at her husband. However, the knife missed Mr. Garadeb, instead striking the pipe in his hand at the time,
which caused the tip to break off, of course.
Good lord!
Yes, and that is when the tiny tip of the blade found its way inside Mr. Garadeb's pipe.
The chances of that are 1,000,000 to 1!
And yet, there's no other credible explanation for how the tip of the blade ended up in your pipe. Then, after losing its tip, the knife ricocheted off the pipe and flew out of the open window.
Ah!
In short, this knife, which fell from the window of the Garadeb's house, is the very same knife that struck the victim in the middle of the back on the street below.
Oh gosh, oh
no! Yeah, that's right, you're guilty of manslaughter. What's up, Zeeks? What, are you gonna say that there's no way it would have hit her in the middle of the back?
A full-bodied theory, I'll give you that.
Huh?
She bent over and picked up the book, a complex bouquet of seemingly trivial points, plausibly arranged to create an almost passable vintage. Allow me to toast my learned friend's characteristically Nipponese approach to bottling his argument.
Sorry?
But after all, it is just a theory. The bottle, I fear, is corked. Because you see... Oh my god, he's putting his foot down. It's spoiled by an insurmountable inconsistency.
Insurmountable? And what would that be? The fact that it would have hit her in the face and not the back, or the head and not the back? Yeah. It's definitely an inconsistency of the simplest nature, my lord. The victim was found with the knife planted in the middle of her back. Yes, yes, we know that. She picked up, that's right, you silly little man.
Now, John, old thing, what are you getting so excited about?
Let us consider the basic facts of the case once more. The victim was walking around the pavement before being stabbed in the back and falling to the ground. If the knife that struck her had fallen from above, then it would have hit her in the head. And no, it couldn't have planted itself in the victim's back. But it was in the victim's back. Please, let me present the book. She bent down and picked up the book. You see, that's exactly right. If the knife had fallen on from above, it would have struck her on the top of her head. Well, not if she bent down and picked up a book. That's why it was in her hand. No. Stop talking to each other. What really did happen?
It would appear the defense has made a rather spectacular blunder.
If a theory was even one consistency, it cannot stand. If a theory has even one inconsistency, it can't stand. Your theory, my learned friend, is history. No, it's not. It is not, though. It is not. Oh my god! We are really close, Ryunosuke. Come on. We are on the right track. Now the way has been blocked completely. It really hasn't. It's not inconsistent at all. Or in other words, we simply need to eliminate that one inconsistency, and the theory will stand. Yes, it will. Because she was picking up the book. Oh my god. I hate it when things are so obvious like this, and you can't, you have to present it in a specific way to a specific fact. Even though it's right there. It's right there. All the information you need. Yes. It seems you have nothing to say, my Nipponese friend. Well, your silence speaks volumes. Taste it. How do you pronounce that word? Tack it. Acceptance that your theory is fatally flawed. It is not. I am aware. Oh? You scrounged your head and thought of something? This inconsistency doesn't mean I was on the wrong track. It means that I need to sharpen my mind and dig deeper for the truth. It's a test. Yes. If the knife fell on the victim from above, there's no way that could have hit her in the middle of her back. Under normal circumstances, that is. What are you implying?
Counsel?
There is a piece of evidence in the court record that can explain this inconsistency, that can explain how the knife fell from above could have pierced the victim's back. Like tazit? Tacit? Tacit? Tazit? Tazit? Tazit. Tazit or Tazit power? I'm still unsure. I am illiterate, as you may know. Goodness!
Utter madness! Surely this must be the last time. Counsel, present the evidence of which you speak.
It's the book. It's the burnt book. Easy. Easy. She saw a burning book on the ground, bent down and picked it up, stabbed in the back. The truth will be laid bare. The evidence that explains how the falling knife became lodged in the victim's back is... the book.
Take that!
Please. Please be correct. This, the fourth book found at the scene. This is the final piece of evidence the defense will present. The burnt book?
Is that not Mr. Garadev's book?
Yes, and to understand its significance, we have to consider how it came to be at the scene in the first place. This photographic print clearly shows the book in question, and the victim holding it in her hand. But as we all now know, it was the police constable that put the book between her fingers like that.
Quite so, as part of his wholesale transplanting of the crime scene to the opposite side of the road.
That's true. However, as part of his testimony, Constable Beat made an extremely enlightening statement on that point. That it was already in her hand. What made you place that book in the victim's hand? Oh, well, sir, that's because that's how I found it. When I first ran over to the scene, the victim was already holding the book. So, when I moved everything, I made sure it was still in her hand. In other words, the victim had already picked the book up of her own volition. And clearly that must have been before she suffered the knife wound.
Well, I should say so. After being attacked with the knife, I don't imagine she'd have been doing much of anything.
So the question becomes, why did the victim have that book in her hand?
By Jingo! I think I'm beginning to see what may have happened now.
Oh, dearie me!
We know that the book fell from the top floor of the Gerda household onto the pavement below, at precisely the moment that the victim was walking past.
Yeah, at exactly that moment. The young woman was walking along the street in the light fog, when all of a sudden, a book fell right in front of her. The book I threw. Yes, Mrs. Garrideb. Yes, Mrs. Garrideb. And what do you think the woman did? What would you do if you were walking along and suddenly a book landed in front of the pavement? Well, I really can't imagine it, but I suppose she might have reached down and picked the book up. Precisely! That is exactly what the woman in fact did. She picked up the book. Oh heavens! And when the woman reached down to pick up the fallen book, what position would her back have been in? Exposed to the elements. Exposed to the harsh weather that we experience in London. The knife rain. Most horrible condition, most horrible weather condition that exists. Knives just fucking falling from the sky, stabbing them in people's backs. Oh yep. Oh yep. Rough. She should have gone home like our client. Our client was pretty safe. He noticed the knife rain and went inside. She, on the other hand, first drop hit her. At the same time, walking by chance directly behind Mrs. Green was the defendant, Mr. Soseki Natsume.
Well, I never...
It appeared to Mr. Natsume that the woman simply collapsed on the floor. In the dark and the fog, he didn't see the knife falling on her from above. Oh! And from the other direction, the constable and his wife saw no one but the victim and her apparent attacker.
So there never was a real culprit to run from in the scene in the first place.
No, this was nothing more than a series of unlikely events that culminated in an unfortunate accident. And that is the real truth behind this case. How you like that, Zeeks? You gonna kill someone now? You still gonna kill my... oh god, we're gonna send him back home before you can. Well, Mr. and Mrs. Garrideb? Yeah, got anything to say? Huh? The very first time you showed me that knife, I had my suspicions. I wondered if perhaps it might have been something like that.
There, old bean.
Poor Mrs. Garrideb. Of course, I never meant for anything of the sort to happen, but it was all my fault, wasn't it? I take full responsibility. I let my anger get the better of me. I threw that book, and I threw the knife as well.
Very well.
John, dear.
It's alright, I know.
I'm ever so sorry. Truly. I'm sorry. Is she sorry? She do be. Damn, you are not as strong as you used to. Oh my god, you're actually lifting her. I mean, well, you tried lifting her. You gave it your best shot. Hell yeah! We got our client off, and he only died twice. He only got sentenced to hang twice, Acolights. I'd say that's pretty good. Pretty good.
Lord Van Zeeks, what news of Mrs. Garrideb?
She's been taken to the infirmary. It will appear that today's events had left her in an especially flustered state. However, I believe she will recover in due course. There is no cause for concern.
Yes, unbeknownst to themselves, they caused what could easily have been a terrible tragedy. They shall have to prepare themselves for the consequences of their actions.
There is some good news, however, my lord. I just have word from the hospital where the victim is being treated. Her condition is improving steadily, and the doctor believes she will regain consciousness soon. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's probably for the best that the knife was chipped before it sank into her, because it would have gone deeper. It would have gone deeper and, like, easier? It might have actually been up to the hilt if it landed just squarely on the point of the knife. It's strange. We've been talking about the victim all this time, but we've never once met her. How wonderful! The woman is out of danger, it seems. Yeah, that is good news.
So, Mr. Soseki Natsume.
Yeah. Yes.
On behalf of my fellow countrymen, I would like to take this opportunity to beg your pardon, sir. You came from your distant eastern homeland to study our great British culture, and have been repaid with immeasurable unkindness. Please accept our heartfelt apologies.
Hell yeah. The Nipponese spirit lives on in all of us. Isn't that right, Soseki? You should know. No, it is me who should be begging your pardon. Oh no, Mr. Natsume. That evening, when the young woman just collapsed on the pavement before my eyes, I jumped to the wrong conclusion again in my confusion.
What conclusion, sir?
I was sure that the woman was dead. Yes, Constable Beat said the same thing, didn't he? He thought she had been killed too. I suppose she must have looked completely lifeless. It's been about a year since I arrived in Great Britain now, but I still can't get used to life here. I can't relax. I'm sure there are evil spirits lurking in the fog, just like they're haunting me. Poor Soseki-san, his imagination really has gotten the better of him. Yes, poor man. So, when it happened, I thought the young woman had been taken by the fog spirits. I should never have dropped my books like that and run away. I should have called for help, for a doctor, for the police. Instead, I've managed to create a rift in the relationship and trust between our two empires. And for that, I am truly sorry. Yeah. You should be more careful about just fucking spraying your books anywhere.
One could indeed say that some sort of mischievous spirit has been at work here, I think. One that created a chain of unfortunate mishaps. We were befooled by this spirit and led to false conclusions. But thanks to Lord Van Zeeks and our young lawyer here from the east, that chain has now been broken, and the spirit exorcised. I heartily commend you both.
Oh. That much is for certain.
Now then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
Yes, my lord.
In concluding this trial, I must ask one last time for your decision regarding the defendant's culpability. Are you ready to present your findings to the court?
As the foreman of this jury, I can assure you we've reached a fair and just conclusion.
I do declare the truth can be extremely cruel at times. Well, I didn't suspect the woman next to me, that's for sure.
Sitting in for the old bean while she's out of action, you know, but I know what her decision would be.
Does this mean I'll finally be able to get out of here and start work? Well, it's about time. I say, I'll have a corker of a story to tell the grandchildren when I get home, won't I?
Very well, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I hereby demand your final decisions. Mr. Foreman.
Not guilty.
Yes.
Not guilty.
I did it.
Not guilty.
I did it. It probably took me like 30 extra minutes than it actually needed to. Because I had to restart those two scenes twice. And I was pretty far in both of those scenes. Which is kind of tough. But hey, we did it in the end. The next... Okay. Next case, Acolytes. That's going to be the one where we don't... Well, I mean, we're going to get things wrong. That's just a given. We're going to get things wrong. But ideally...
Not guilty.
Ideally, we don't have our victim sentenced at all. Ideally. Again. Possibly. Easy. Yeah, Power. See, yeah. Who cares if we fail a couple of times and we get our victim hung? That's only 2 different universes in which he was dead. We saved him in the 3rd. That's a 30% chance. Oh, yes, Lord, sir.
You are now a free man once more. It is my hope that you will continue to further your education in British culture. And may you never again be brought before me.
Oh, yes, sir. Of course. On my life, I swear I'll never set a foot in a courtroom again. I am transported to tears.
Thank you, counsels. Court is adjourned.
Oh, God, that was a trial. That was a hell of a trial. 20th February, 3:17 p.m. The Old Bailey Defendant's Antechamber. Oh, locum! Hello.
Wait, you mean me?
Of course! Is there another locum here?
Is there even one?
Compared to the original locum student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire, your name has become rather short, hasn't it?
What's wrong with using my actual name?
Oh, at last!
Oh, at last, I'm free! I thought it was weird. Joyful, joyous, jubilant, jubilation! Hearty, hearty, happiness, hurrah!
Oh, I am pleased. Mr. Natsume is delighted.
Would it be so hard to just say that then?
Locum, you did it! You saved me from the brink!
Well, what happened to the poor woman was just in no way your fault, after all. I'm just glad everyone can see that now.
No, not that! Lovely, loyal, locum lawyer!
Yes?
I mean, as I said before, I have just never gotten used to life here in Great Britain. Every time I look over my shoulder, I see foreigners. I see towering brick buildings. And from high up windows, I see them looking down on me, laughing. Look at that little hunchback.
Oh dear, I'm sure it's all in your head, Mr. Natsume.
But today, you, locum lawyer, gave me my gloom to boot. You stood firm behind that baronial bench, all before those babbling British. You battled to the bitter end, laying bare the baffling truth. And when I beheld the blinding fireworks among the beams of the Bailey's roof, I bellowed, "Behold the best barrister ever born!"
Well, that's very flattering, and we're very pleased for you. Also, a ton of bees. I'm actually pretty glad I have a pop filter for that, because that'd be an insane amount.
This has given me a wonderful anecdote to recount to my old friends back in Japan.
An anecdote? Is that what's to become of all my hard work? Ah, there you are, my dear fellows. I apologize for keeping you waiting. I rose late this morning.
Oh, Mr. Sholmes, what a pleasure to see you.
I see I am here not a moment too soon. A disaster has been averted, I'm glad to say.
Oh,
the trial shall begin presently, Mr. Naruhodo, and I wish you the very best of luck. It's just finished, Sholmes.
What?
No! Then my haste was in vain!
Ah, it's you, Herlock Sholmes!
Oh, have we met, sir?
this is Mr. Natsume, the man you had arrested, Mr. Sholmes.
Aha, I see. I failed to recognize you at first. Our previous encounters have taken place in the gloom, either of your bleak lodgings or that prison cell. I simply couldn't place that curious face. In the light. Charming.
This is all your fault, Herlock Sholmes! You're the reason I had to go through this terrible ordeal. I'm going to give you a piece of my mind!
My apologies, sir, but I assure you, I have placed you now. You're the fellow who abandoned that poor young lady and ran off, are you not?
Ah!
Had she been taken to the hospital more urgently, I feel perhaps she would have regained consciousness by now.
Oh!
But it was unavoidable, I'm sure. We are but human after all. Anyone would have been shaken by such an experience. Damn. Don't you feel silly, Soseki, you and your pose.
I do feel very badly about how I behaved.
Well, never mind then. Now then, what is it that you wanted to say to me, sir?
Nothing.
Priceless! Oh, I am sorry, really, but... that was quite a priceless! Poor Soseki-san. Still, on the bright side, you've had an extremely entertaining experience without paying a penny. And, it would seem, you were not even found guilty.
No. But there is no bright side.
You're a free man, Natsume.
Even after this, I'm still cursed by the spirits and now by the Reaper.
Ah, Lord Van Zeeks, that's right.
I've forgotten, you know, when facing that man in court means if you're found not guilty, you're still doomed.
It will be alright, Mr. Natsume. If the Reaper appears trying to make trouble, I will protect you.
Hey-ya! Oh god, why me?
Oh god, my neck. Oh god, I felt something pop. Something pop, Susato. Oh god, I need to go to the hospital.
With a perfectly executed Susato takedown.
I'm in a lot of pain here. Please, Susato. I need a hospital.
Much as I like being turned on my head, a bit of warning might be next time, Miss Susato. Miss Susato, Susato-san, Susato. We call her everything here. So, Mr. Natsume, what do you intend to do now? You mentioned something about recounting your experiences to your friends back in Japan? Well, yeah. Yes, I intend to return to my homeland soon. Oh. It has already been a year since I arrived here, Great Britain. I've visited universities, libraries, bookshelves, bookshops. I've been honored with the tutelage of professors. I've learned so much about the wealth of literature here and the city it's shaped. And I've come to realize that it is my calling to sail home and tell my fellow countrymen about it.
That's very touching, Mr. Natsume.
Or, in perhaps less veiled terms, you wish to withdraw halfway around the world, escape the terror of the Reaper's curse.
That's not it at all. Well, I mean, kind of, little bit. Okay, you got me, a teeny bit. The more I learn of literature, the more this strange feeling claws at my insides. I feel compelled to return to my roots and attempt to pen a work of my own.
Oh, I see. You're gonna write a book.
A work of literature by Soseki-san. Could be interesting read. It's pretty good. What about you, Sholmes?
What about you, Miss Susato, and yourself, Mr. Naruhodo?
Sorry? What about us?
Well, will you return to Japan alongside your mustached compatriot?
Why would we?
A week has not yet passed since we arrived in London. And only now does it feel as though we've finally found our feet.
And you are accommodated in a hotel at present, are you not?
That's right, but we need to find lodgings before it bankrupts us.
I've calculated we can only afford another 10 nights before our entire budget is exhausted.
Well then, you can take my lodgings.
Oh, the windowless room?
Ah, but what it lacks in windows, it more than makes up for with a floor, a ceiling, and walls.
Great.
And of course, I'd be happy to leave behind the accursed evil spirit.
Oh my, an evil spirit?
Oh yes, it tries to suffocate you while you sleep. It's a cat. An infallible wake-up call. It's your cat.
We'll think about it, if that's alright.
Perhaps I could offer a more welcome alternative. Would you consider taking lodgings with me?
Really?
Well, a vacancy has conveniently presented itself. Though it is up in the attic, I might add.
Are you sure it isn't just a storage loft?
I spoke with the landlady this very morning on the matter of price, and Iris is cleaning the room as we speak. You must come at once. I presume you have no luggage to speak of?
Oh, this is simply wonderful. What an honor to be invited to taking lodgings at the great detective's office's attic. I'm too overcome for words.
So, suggesting we look elsewhere is out, then. I get you.
Well, it's settled. Iris will prepare a welcome dinner this evening. And you must come too, Mr. Natsume. I insist.
I don't know what to say. But thank you, and yes.
Wonderful. Then I'll go and complete the paperwork for your formal release, Mr. Natsume. That shan't take long.
Somebody's happy.
Hell yeah, we got a place to stay.
Locum, cough. I knew that you wouldn't let me down. I'm truly delighted to have met you here in London.
Likewise, Mr. Natsume. It's been a privilege meeting you, too.
It's a shame that we're going to have to say goodbye so soon. Well, I've come to realize that I belong in Japan. But Locum, we'll meet again one day.
Yeah, I'm sure we will. And hopefully by then, I'll be a successful lawyer.
Hopefully by then, I'll be a successful author.
Well, my dear fellow, our carriage appears to have arrived. Shall we go, Mr. Naruhodo?
Yeah, Mr. Sholmes, I'd say we shall.
I've little doubt Mr. Natsume will be released in time for dinner this evening.
Probably. Most likely. And so, with Soseki-san's innocence successfully established, we rode with Mr. Sholmes to what was to become our new home, 221 Baker Street, home of the Sherlocks. Or the Herlocks. Herlocks. Nope, I said it right. 20th February, 4:41 p.m., the attic room. This is pretty decent size, all things considered. So this is to be our new office, yes. Our office? I rather like the sound of that.
Me too. It's simply wonderful, isn't it?
Yeah, just get like a desk. And really, that's all you need. That's all I mean, I have a desk and shelves in my office, but still. I hope you can see this, Cosmo. It's only a small step. But I'd like to think we're getting a little closer to your dream now.
So, my dear fellows, do you like the place?
Oh my god, Sholmes. This is the first time I've seen you without your jacket. And your hat. Your hair actually looks worse without the hat somehow. Hat hair, probably?
It's a delightful room, Mr. Sholmes. I simply adore it.
Good, I'm pleased to hear it. Iris and I are delighted to welcome you.
I hope everyone's hungry. It's nearly time for dinner. We'll eat as soon as Mr. Natsume arrives. We have a lot to celebrate. Iris, you must let me help you. All right then, Susie. You could be in charge of the salad. Splendid.
Sweet. Does that mean I can laze about and save? So, Mr. Naruhodo, how does it feel to have your own office in the capital? It's very exciting, actually. I can't help wondering what adventures awaits us. Those were precisely my sentiments when I first established my office in these premises. Until I discovered the dark truth about the city of London, that is... Sorry? Iris. It's Iris. Facts, power. Anyone here? Any other acolytes? An Iris lover? I mean, you don't even have to be a fan. I mean, I am a fan of Iris. I'm a fan of all the Hololive girls, all of the Holostar guys, all of the Niji Sanji cast. Just ton of people alike. Love them all. London is a glorious place, full of wonder, but the brightest of lights casts the darkest of shadows. Shadows? What do you mean? Well, I believe you're well aware of the murkiness that lies behind London's facade already. So, once again, Mr. Naruhodo. Welcome to London. You'll learn all about this in time, dear sir. Of course, at the time, I had no idea of the significance of those words Mr. Sholmes so casually spoke. It wasn't long before my turn came to lift the facade and see the true depth of the murk that lay behind it. Ooh. Suspicious. What's going on here? End. Okay, sweet. Chapter complete. We did it. We only got our guy tried twice. I'll do better next time. I swear, Acolytes. I mean, then again, next time... I mean, considering how these chapters have gone so far, next time we probably won't even make it to the court. Hopefully. I'll do my best to get through, like, the preamble and get to the court. That way, the next time we can complete it. Because this one took 3 streams. Ideally, I want to try and keep the chapters to 2 streams, if I can help it. But with things coming up, who knows? Who knows what happens? Alright. That said, everyone, hope you have a good night. As always, do your best to be kind. And hey, sleep well. Talk to you later.